Everybody, happy Tuesday evening. First time you've heard me say those words. Happy Tuesday evening, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great Labor Day weekend. Where's my banner? Hold on. I'm out of sorts here. I haven't been on in 8 days. My goodness. I think that's a record. But I hope everybody had a great weekend, had some good sales. Labor Day, the traditional end of summer, even though we still have about 2 weeks left and change. But for all intents and purposes, yes, it's almost that autumn time of year, so I'm kind of pumped up. Had a good weekend. I got to go away with my wife, first time in a really long time. We left Friday, which is why I didn't do the listing show Friday night. Sorry about that, but we left Friday, drove out up to Long Island, which was almost 4 hours away. Long ride. Stayed with a friend of my wife's, her husband, and 2 little kids. It was a really nice time. We got a lot of relaxation, got to do some pool time, got to eat way too much, and came back in, late evening last night, 9, 10 o'clock. So I'm raring to go now after a little bit of a hiatus. Had a good weekend of sales despite not listing anything since Friday morning. I was worried about how that might affect things, but had a pretty good weekend. I did have a marketing sale going on the print ads, had some other things. And you probably saw the little sneak peek. I was just trying to do a screen share, but I want to talk about that crazy item that we discussed last Monday. If you remember, my wife literally found this thing, fell off the back of a truck. I know it sounds like a joke, but it's not a joke. Fell off the back of a truck, a box. Well, I listed it on the 30th, Tuesday, and it sold Wednesday, the next day. And I want to show everybody that one. If you didn't see the details on it, I'll show you. But I mean, this was just pennies from heaven, literally, Just I took a chance. I listed it pretty high. And I got a couple of offers almost instantaneously. And I thank God I waited, because anything would have been something when it's completely free, right? But I said, no, let's hold out. There's obviously interest in it. And the next day it sold full price plus shipping. Shipping was almost $100. It was actually over $100 with UPS ground. But it was delivered today. Everybody's happy. Got good feedback already on it. So I'm just ecstatic, over the moon over this thing. And once everybody comes in, we'll take a look at it together. Hey, Kim, how you doing? Welcome. Good vibes. It's funny, on StreamYard, it just says good vibes. So I have to look over here to see what the actual little face is. And it looks like it's a wavy face, I guess. Anyway, good vibes back to you, Kim. Oh, my goodness. I have a nice, refreshing cup of peppermint tea with no sugar. Like I said, we kind of gorged ourselves all weekend, so I need to kind of cleanse a little bit this next couple of days and eat light, drink some tea, get some steps in, walking, whatnot. Hey, CJ. Yeah, isn't that awesome? I'll show everybody in a few minutes. Welcome aboard. Hey, GP, how you doing? Good to see you. Whatnot. Sorry, my nose is itchy. Whatnot. I'll have a show again tomorrow. I just scheduled it, so I don't know how many people will turn up, but I do want to try to stick with the Wednesday 6 p.m. thing. So if anybody's interested in checking out my Whatnot, please do. I think most of you guys probably follow me on there. If you don't, I have links below this video where you can find me on Whatnot. And if you're not on Whatnot, there's that little coupon for $10. You get a $10 credit. So I definitely encourage you to use that if you're not a member of Whatnot yet. But I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, 6 o'clock. We'll do some more cool print ads. Everything that was from last Wednesday, I just want to confirm this before my mouth, I think is delivered. That was the 31st. I want to make sure there's nothing outstanding. Actually, there is. Of course there is. Cameron is still waiting for his items, but that's because he's out on the West Coast. And we lost a shipping day yesterday with Labor Day. So it's really only 2 days, I guess, technically. Thursday, Friday. But is there anybody else waiting? Actually, GP, you too, it looks like, huh? You're still waiting on yours? Unless they just haven't updated it. Actually, it says it was delivered today at 1:30. You did? Okay. Whew. It doesn't always update in the interface here on Whatnot. So thank you very much for letting me know about that. Cool. Enjoy those. And maybe Cameron. Actually, let me check Cameron's shipping. Looks like his was delivered as well. Excuse me. They just didn't update it here on Whatnot. So, okay, my statement was correct. Everything that we shipped out Thursday for last Wednesday's auction appears to have been delivered. So, again, thank you to all of you who won your bids. That's a good thing. I'll be doing another one tomorrow, 6 p.m. I can't wait to show everybody this crazy thing that sold. Hey, Steven, how you doing? Steven, do you mind if I show it off? I know Steven is not one to bring attention to himself, I'm sure. But, one of the really great things about working with all you guys all the time and getting to know everybody is I've been fortunate enough to get a couple of gifts from people, unsolicited. They just know I like the Beatles and know I like certain things. And Steven was kind enough to send me this. Just got it in the mail today, as a matter of fact. It's an old songbook for Sgt. Pepper album. We'll fix this thing with a little glue. No big deal. It's got lyrics. It has some cool photos. It doesn't have the year on it. I don't know what year it's from, but I'll do a little research. I'm not going to get rid of this thing. I like it too much to get rid of. So thank you very much, Steven. And then he sent me a little songbook. Old guitar book. This is the kind of stuff when I was first learning to play. I think a lot of people got these sort of books, easy chord books, stuff like that. So again, thanks a million, Steven. I really appreciate it. Did not have to be done, but I'm very appreciative. So thank you very much. GP got it. Awesome. There he is. What's going on? Nudie Provisions. Check him out on many platforms, actually, but check him out on Whatnot for sure. And we're going to talk a little bit about a new event that's coming up for this coming Saturday. I already got him, Steven. Lightning fast. Hey, Papa, how you doing? You shove food in your face? Okay. I need to calm down, man. I had a crazy weekend of eating. We were special guests at my wife, an old friend of my wife's with her family, and out in Long Island. So being a New Yorker and everything, they figured, oh, you need real bagels. That's how it started. Saturday morning, you got to get some real New York bagels. So the guy goes out and gets a bag of 25 bagels that are yay big. So of course I'm stuffing my face right out of the gate. Saturday morning, bagels going down, cream cheese, 5 cups of coffee, and then it was all downhill after that. We just basically ate for 72 hours straight. So now I'm doing tea, a lot of water today. I need to get back on the wagon, as they say. Yep, Ben and Popeye are here, and eBay shows a Sunday delivery in New York. Ooh, for which one? Are you talking about anything specific, CJ? Yeah, get back to me on that. Well, anyway, yes, Ben and Popeye are here, and they represent about 33% of this upcoming event coming on Saturday. Hey, Cameron, how you doing? I'm glad you didn't miss it too. And it looks like you just I was opening up the show with making this announcement that everybody got their stuff from last Wednesday, and yours still showed as shipping. But when I opened it up, it said it was actually delivered this morning. So if you could just confirm that, I'd appreciate it. But welcome aboard, Cameron. Yeah, guys, this coming Saturday, and it looks like let me get this right. Every second Saturday, guys, is that how it's working? There's going to be a new event similar to the Paperpalooza thing, but just on a slightly smaller scale. I would love to participate, but I have a show this Saturday, a Beatles show in Washington, D.C., so I cannot do this first Ephemerama show. Hey, Memphis Blazer, how you doing? Good to see you. And let me pull up, I made a little banner for this to show everybody. And here it is. Ephemerama. I had to practice saying that about 27 times, but I think I have it pronounced correctly. Ephemerama. Coming at you every second Saturday of the month, starting at 6 p.m. Eastern, only on Whatnot. Let me get rid of the banner going under this so you can read the whole thing. There you go. So that's the details. It looks like we have, five auctioneers this one. Ben, new to you provisions, as always, kicking it off. John, Popeye, of course, closing it out of 10. And then in between, we have Millicent's Memories at 7 p.m. We have Franklin Hill Ventures, I believe both of them. I know Franklin Hill Ventures was part of Paperpalooza. I do not know who Pecos Valley Collect is. So if anyone wants to chime in and say that gentleman or woman's name, I'd be happy if you guys know who that is. I'm sorry, I don't. But there's the roster. There's the times, starting at 6 p.m. as opposed to 10 a.m. I think we started 10 or 11 a couple of weeks ago. But similar sort of stuff, and it's kind of cool. You see, they put it out so you can see who's selling the time, and then it kind of gives you an idea of what they'll be selling. Like Ben has miscellaneous ephemera, very mysterious, could be anything. What do you know? Popeye has postcards. But it's kind of, a nice mix. Turn of the century ephemera, that sounds cool. Non-sport tobacco cards, that sounds cool as well. So everybody definitely go to Whatnot. And I did confirm prior to the show, the same thing applied to Paperpalooza. If anybody wants to just put that hashtag # thing, whatever it is, and type Ephemerama on the mobile app, it still doesn't work on the website, supposedly. On the mobile app within Whatnot, you'll be able to find those 5 dealers, what time they're on. I definitely highly recommend you go in and bookmark each and every one of those guys and check them out Saturday. Nice evening, 6 to 10. And maybe Popeye will go till what, 11:30, 12. I guess it depends on how he's doing. But everybody else has that hour, and it's going to be a great time. I know most of you guys, we talked at length. We had that great chat show about a month back with all the players for the Paper Palooza event, which was fantastic. And I know a lot of you guys participated in it. It was a joy. And then we had a show or two where we talked about after the event how well it went. So I think it's great that these guys have worked on this new ephemeron, which will take place every second Saturday of the month. It's exciting. So do check it out. Let me see if I can get my banner back. I'm sure I can. Hey, everybody. A lot of comments as I was chatting there. Everybody, yes. Yeah, you're at work. Okay, yeah, no problem, man. It says it was delivered. So just if there is a problem, God forbid, let me know. But it looks like it was delivered. Second Saturday of the month. Cool. Yep. And I would have been there with Bells on the Saturday again, have a Beatles show down in Washington, so I cannot. You shipped out a package on Friday, and eBay says it was delivered on Sunday. Is that right? That's odd. That sounds like a snafu because there's no deliveries. Did you send it any special way, CJ, like overnight or anything like that? I don't think they do regular deliveries on Sundays. His name is Gary or Uncle P. Okay, very cool. New seller to these events, but runs a good show. I'm sure he does. You have to meet very stringent standards to be part of these ephemera events over on Whatnot. So I'm sure that Gary/Uncle P is good people. You listed 7 print ads. Very good. Yeah, they are. Some, you segued for me. It's kind of the opposite for me. I have a lot of print ads up. They're selling pretty well. I had a good weekend with them. As I've talked about a couple of shows now, I'm starting to get into the postcard thing. I've sold like 5 postcards since Friday, which for me is out of control. I mean, I just started listing them and they're selling. And today I sold a $15 moments before the show, a $15 postcard. I took a best offer. I had it for $18.99, I think. Somebody offered me $15. So I'm doing backflips over here about the whole postcard thing. I'm really pumped up. I still don't have that many listed, and I'm selling some. So very encouraging. But Cameron, yeah, just keep at it. You need, time. I hate to use the cliches. The right buyer has to come along, but it really is true. And you never know. If you start getting a lot of those ads up, you'll find buyers potentially that collect, like we've talked about 1,000 times during listing shows. Sometimes you'll have somebody that collects Coca-Cola. We always use Coca-Cola as an example, and they might buy 10 of them at one fell swoop. So be patient. Just keep listing them, and they will sell. And remember, you're going to make an incredible return on your investment. You don't have to put the hashtag. Oh, okay, cool. You just put the word then. Very good, Ben. Thank you. 11:01. Okay, yeah. 11:01 a.m. Yeah. You have to make another trip to Pennsylvania on the road by 6 a.m. and hope to be back by the 6:40 pregame, 6-hour round trip. Oh, man. Dealing with the mom stuff still, which I think you announced to the group, so I'm not speaking out of school here. Yeah, it does blow. I'm used to driving, but it's still not fun. Hey, Nostalgia Picker, how you doing? You're first on the hunt for affordable magazines after watching a series. You found one single Life magazine for $4, grabbed it, realized it was the first ever issue. Very good, 1936. I sold that one on its own. We talk about the fact that 99.99% of the time I rip apart all the magazines. That's one that I did sell complete. And the price varies. I mean, it's not like super expensive, but you can get decent money for it. And there aren't that many ads in that very first one. It was a brand new magazine. You're in the height of the Depression, 1936. There wasn't, money wasn't flying around. And you'll find in that issue, there aren't that many ads, especially relative to later, a few years later. But good for you. That's awesome that you found that, Nostalgia Picker. Good luck. Probably an eBay glitch would be my guess too, CJ. You bought 9 boxes of postcards today from your guy, Dave. He was supposed to meet with a few months ago. Oh, man. 9 boxes. And how many are in a box? Again, layman here, so I know I should probably know. Is there always a similar quantity in these boxes? I don't know. Memphis says, Marty, what size bag and board do you use for the large mag ads? Well, Memphis Blazer, what I do is, and again, it is in one of the video series. It's in one of the videos. I have that hard corrugated, non-bendable envelope. And then I also put, I put the ad into the bag. So I don't have to actually board them. I've never had You hear the sound of knocking on wood? I've never had an issue with that. The mail people are smart enough to know if it's in an unbendable or a non-bendable envelope, that it should not be stuffed into somebody's mailbox. So I've never had an issue. I don't have to board them per se. I just use that same process, whether it be through Whatnot. I know you've bought some from me, so you kind of see the process. It's the same for one ad as it is for the lots that you've bought. Just put them in the clear plastic bag and then in that nice non-bendable envelope. Yeah, he definitely needs more. You can never have enough. That's right. I definitely understand, man. Sorry about that. It's going to be an ongoing thing, unfortunately. Purple Soccer, how you doing? You have 60 ads up, totally hooked on them. They do sell more slowly than postcards, which are long tails. You're also new to it, and you just started listing them. So, but I agree. They're both postcards. And I told you, I'm suddenly having this little run on postcards where I'm selling things. Or I never sold a postcard, or very few. And now all of a sudden this last week or so, I started listing a few and they're selling. So I'm very excited about that. Although they're long tail, I just think it's such a popular commodity for whatever reason. As we've all discussed, nobody really knows why, but it certainly is. So just keep at it, Purple Circle. You'll get some sales. Yeah, what's going on with that? You were trying to clear out the house, Mom. So yeah, I figured that's good luck with that. I definitely feel, we talked about my dad. We're watching my dad who's borderline dementia and has Parkinson's and all that stuff. So I know it's not fun. When I list the ads, what category do I list them in? Just the general collectible ads category, something else? Something else. Jeepsy. I keep saying Jeepsy. I don't know why. Jeepy. If you haven't seen yet, every Friday, except for last Friday because it was Labor Day and I was going to Long Island, every Friday night we do a live listing show together. You can kind of see firsthand exactly different categories that we put the ads in. You can also go back and just check any replay for the video series. We've done, I don't know, probably 20 of them, maybe more. I don't even know, of those listing shows, but you can get an idea. You definitely put them into a collectible. It would say collectibles advertising, and then there's going to be at least one other branch off of that, like be it beverage ads for Coca-Cola or automobile ads, Chrysler, if it's Chrysler car. So there's a lot of variables, but definitely I invite you on Friday. We should be on Friday for sure, even though I have to go to Washington in the morning, but I'll be able to sleep enough. Check it out. Friday night, 6 o'clock, we do the listing shows. Or just go back on my channel and check out any of you'll see it usually says Friday night live listing or something to that effect. When you realize it was the first issue, you're probably keeping it up. Yeah, definitely. They sell pretty well. I don't remember. I should remember, but I don't. I sold that whole thing. Like I said, it's not this super valuable thing. I was over the moon when I first got it. I'm like, oh man, I have the very first one. I can write my own price, and I mean, it was decent money for sure, but it wasn't like you're not going to retire on it, That's one of those ultra rare instances where I would recommend you actually sell the whole thing if you plan on selling it. If you just want to keep it, then keep it. Popeye says, when a good deal comes along, always be buying. Yep. They'll all be going on Whatnot. Beautiful. Yeah, see, that's the difference now that you're such a machine over on Whatnot. You can offload these things immediately. They won't sit there forever. 1K box? 1,000 a box? Is that a good guess? You have a 37 with the Queen Mary? Yep, I had that one too. I also just picked up on a Whatnot auction some Queen. Oh, it wasn't Queen Mary. It was Queen Elizabeth. So never mind. But anyway, I picked up some Queen Elizabeth ephemera, like menus. They're out there. They're not very rare or anything, but they're just kind of cool. And a couple of real photos, black and white photos. I think it was from 55 or so. So 37 with the Queen Mary. I'm familiar with the issue. That's awesome. What size plastic bag? Again, it's on the. I can check out a video for you. It's on the video. I give the exact dimensions. Bear with me 1 second. I'll be happy to look it up for you. My videos. I actually have a link for them too if you're interested. That takes you right to you get a 10% discount if you use the link. And I don't get paid for it. It's a what's the word when you have the links that people get paid for? Can't think what it's called. Not an endorsement, whatever it's called. I have a link that the company reached out to me and said, we'd be happy to offer your followers a discount, but unfortunately it's not a pay program. They say it's in the works. We might be able to get some money for you. But let me see, where the heck is this thing? The affiliate link. That's what it's called, Cameron. Thank you. Actually, you know what? Just go right down in this video, actually. I think I have a link to it. Hold on. I usually use the same kind of, I just copy and paste from the previous ones. Yeah, right there. Memphis Blazer, go down to the, the description of this video, just scroll down and you'll see it says to purchase the same clear bags I use for shipping, visit clearbags.com, use promo code Jiminy10, you get 10% discount. So definitely they're outrageously cool. You know how good they are because you've bought several from me. So if you want to use those same ones, I highly suggest you use that link. Again, I don't get paid a penny for it, but they're great products and I use them, daily. Yeah, he was saying you're working with a seller in the UK who wants to buy bulk UK airplane cards, probably 500 to 600. Oh man, yeah. Good luck on that one. Oh, you know what I want to say to both of you guys? Well, not both, but John for sure, and anybody else who does postcards with some regularity. One of the postcards that I sold over the weekend was from Poland. I might have mentioned this, I might not have. My wife's grandmother went to Europe on a vacation years ago, and she came back with all these postcards and brand new and kept them. So she gave me them, I don't know, a year ago or so. And a lot of them were from Poland, from Warsaw. They're from 1971, all of them. And I hesitated on listing them because they're written in Polish. And I know there's apps now where you could translate, but it's really, really complicated. Anyway, I did finally go ahead and list them. And I sold 5 Polish postcards. And my question was actually, do foreign postcards sell well? Yeah, that's awesome, man. I would frame the cover. You live in Southern California. Yeah, see, and you are the typical buyer of these ads. The people that buy my ads, that's what most of them do. They find something they really love or they collect, and a lot of the people frame them, put them up on a wall. You have 1,600 ads listed, have sold 60. Nice. Fun to list, so simple compared to listing a postcard. Yeah, less particulars for sure. But even that, I'm getting a little more used to it because I've listed, I don't know, 100 maybe. And it's like anything else. If you keep doing it, you get used to the things they're looking for. Oh, no problem at all, GB. Yeah, tons of them. I mean, we've been doing this for months, so there's got to be at least 20, probably more than that. But you can check out any one of them and you'll see. It's a lot of fun, especially if you go back like maybe, let's say, prior to July, maybe mid-July prior. 90% of these shows were dedicated to listing. After that, we kind of wound up making a hybrid chat/listing show, but you'll definitely get the gist, about the different category types. So you can scan them and take photos of the ads when listing. Absolutely. Go with the plus deck. Long live the plus deck. Hey, Franklin Hill Ventures, how you doing? We just talked a little earlier. I don't know if you were listening, but we just talked about your big Ephemerama event coming up on Saturday. I wish you all the luck in the world. I would love to be there, but I have a Beatles show down in Washington. You use the link for the call affiliate. Oh, very cool. Drilling that word into my head. Affiliate link. Thank you. Yeah, it's right. It's on this video right now, Memphis. If you scroll down, I'm looking at it. It's like it's almost at the very end. It says to purchase the same clear bags I use, blah, 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 blah. And it has a link. So you can just copy and paste and use the promo code. You send, I think that's probably about right, by the way. 15 by 17 sounds right. They're big. They fit everything. Yeah, it's if you can afford it, it's a game changer when it comes to doing print ads for sure. You can fit any. I haven't had a magazine, and there's a couple of. Life is one of the bigger ones, but there's a few that are actually bigger than Life, longer than Life. And this thing gobbles them all up without any problem. GP, I sold 5 Polish postcards. I just sold one moments ago, like literally at 10 to 7. I was all excited. I was like, I got to bring up postcards. Let me show you. It was a French. No, hold on. I have a few foreign cards, so I was kind of excited to see that they sold. I don't know if they paid yet. Oh, no, here it is. I took a best offer. I'll show you guys. Because I was kind of proud. This little novice getting into the postcard game. Who knew? Who thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? Share. And I'm like, everybody else is doing this. I got to get in on this action here. All right, here's the one that's sold. Like I said, I'll cover the guy's name. And they haven't paid yet. There you go. You see that? I'm going to blow it up a little. And I remember struggling with the, it's 1934, but it's supposedly World War I era soldiers. So it's like, what, 15, 16 years after the war. So they're still young guys. They're probably not even 40, or maybe they're 40. I don't even know. The Sammys covered in flowers in France. It says it right on there. So this guy, I took a best offer. I think I had it up for $18.99, and somebody just came in with $15. And this is one of the ones I did not use the free shipping on either. All the new ones I've been listing, I'm using that that program with the 57-cent shipping. Isn't that cool? Just sold that, like 10 to 7. So I'm really seriously fired up about this because I've sold, I don't know, I'll look it up, 5 or 6 over the weekend, and now this one, so maybe 7. Really excited about it. Okay, that's the postcard. That's one I just said. You found a bolo. Frank Zappa CDs. Bought a whole. Oh, yeah. That's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Yeah, Zappa stuff sells great. He's crazy. I was just watching a video, interview with Frank Zappa. Interesting. You should bring him up. Very talented musician. A little off the wall, but very bright guy, too. You see it now. Although last time you bought from Clearbags, they notified you had an identity. So, geez. Don't know about that. I buy it from all the time. Intense Echo. How you do? Intense Echo. Listing German ads? Sure. How are they recent? Are they World War II? I'd be careful about that, obviously. If there's any Nazi stuff, that should not be listed. But if it's just regular, contemporary German stuff, sure. I think it would sell. Hey, Bonamania, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Kelly, there he is. Good to see you, man. Did you hear my little excited, what's the word? Statement that I sold, I think, 7 cards since Friday. Kelly, I'm really excited. 7 postcards. You never know. I agree. List. The more you have of stuff, odds are going to be in your favor that they're going to sell. You sold 3 General Motors annual report. You got $50 to one buyer. Beautiful. That's right. Yeah, you're talking about those. You paid 5 for 36. See, that's what you want to see. 70 to 75. Yeah, you should be fine. Is it like East German, West German? Obviously, at that point, it was still East Germany, West Germany. I would assume West Germany. It's strange that most people do not think that way. Hope your day is going well. Hey, Mother's Mustache, how you doing? Did you just sneak in too? Ainsley? Yes, you've been lurking since you went live. Okay. You're doing other things, right? But it's good to see you. I'm really excited about the fact that these postcards are sold. How are you? Kelly wishes everybody good evening. Yeah, it's good stuff. No idea. Probably West Germany. East Germany was communist at the time. And I don't know. I don't have any experience with listing those, honestly. So I don't know. Maybe there would actually be a premium if you could find an East German magazine. Being communist at the time and all that stuff, it was probably much harder to sneak out of the country with a magazine. So, but I don't know. I would definitely recommend do a little due diligence on those. But I'd argue that an ad will sell regardless. Thank you very much. I'm glad you did sneak in. Yeah, I'm kind of pumped up today. Had a beautiful weekend. First time in a long time we just got away together alone, and it was a really nice time. Beautiful weather. We had beautiful weather, actually. Today was a disaster. It rained from all day. First time in months that we had a rainy day. You've probably seen on the news there's a lot of drought in the Northeast. Today was the first rainy day seriously in months. We've had like a storm or two sporadically, like a thunderstorm, but a rainy day from beginning to end. This is the first one probably since spring. And it kind of got me in the whole fall spirit thing. I hate to be a sucker and fall for that, Labor Day begins fall. No, it doesn't. September 21st or 22nd, whatever it is, that's when fall begins. But we're getting close. We're a couple of weeks out. And it just felt cozy today because it was in the 70s and it was raining and it was very dark this morning because it was very heavy rain. Just got me in the spirit. So I did some tidying up down here. I had a lot of stuff to box up, which is always good after a 3-day weekend. Just in good spirits. I am pumped for fall. I'm pumped for the turnaround and hopefully we all get a nice little uptick in sales. And I'm sure everybody follows that same philosophy of, list with the hopes that when fall comes, you are prepared and ready. Everybody's saying hi, hi, hi. Hey, Treasure Maze, how you doing? Welcome. We are just chatting tonight. Rainy day is welcomed. Yeah, about time. I mean, we've been dying in the Northeast in general. I said I was just up in Long Island. They had the same exact, it's basically the same weather. It's not that far away. I've been all up and down the East Coast all summer playing shows. Brown grass everywhere. A lot of the trees, the colors are changing prematurely. They were changing in August, like mid-August, because of the drought. It was like prematurely making the trees change colors and all. So it's been a mess. It was extremely welcomed, and it's amazing how after a weekend of swimming, like I just described, we were in the pool for 3 days straight, barbecue, food galore, summer festivity. 12 hours later, I go to bed last night. I wake up and now I'm in full-blown fall mood. Dark, rainy, 71 degrees, crazy. All it takes is one day to get you fired up for this stuff. Shipped my stuff out. Did some listing. I did do, again, moments before the show, probably about 6, from like 6 to 6:30 or so. I did go ahead because we're in September now. I did the, returned my store, not the whole store, but like 1,000 listings. Anything that was still active from from July, which I did have a bunch. I wound up ending and selling similar. Actually, it was August 3rd was the date, so it was the beginning of August. Just trying to keeping everything around 30 days old. So let's see what happens. I did get that postcard sale instantly from doing that, but again, who knows? They might have bought that anyway, but I'd go in there at least one. Now I go in pretty much every 30 days or so. It's not in stone, but every 30 days I like to go in and end anything that's older than 30 days. Anybody notice, actually, when I was doing that, I noticed something I hadn't seen before. You know how you could look at your view count, right? And ever since they did this weird update where everybody's views went down to nothing, you had the ability to check, 7 days and 30 days? Well, now they had 45 and 90 days as options, but they were grayed out. So I don't know if they're trying to encourage people to leave this stuff out there so they could bury it. I don't know. Who knows? But changes are coming once again. You have never said so, but you truly appreciate my demeanor on your live streams. Thank you very much. That's greatly appreciated. And you're part of the whole atmosphere. Let me just tell you, all you guys are. I appreciate that. You have some apple trees that already dropped their leaves. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we had some premature coloring for sure. And it's amazing. Again, one rainy day, a little wind, and now there's a bunch of leaves on the floor, on the grass. You had to mow all summer because of the rain. Usually don't have to mow every week. Wow. Yeah, we've had nothing. It's been insanely dry. Let me show everybody who remembers from, I know it's been a while, but last Monday I talked about, we'll recap really quickly. My wife was going to work a couple of blocks away from our house. I get a text, honey, what is this box? I said, what do you mean, what is this box? She starts showing me pictures. Right in front of her in the road, she saw a couple of cars swerving. She came up upon this thing, and it was just a cardboard box. Pretty big cardboard box. Not huge, but pretty big. So and the whole reason this happened was because she was nice enough to care about other drivers. She's like, somebody's going to crash into this thing, or somebody's going to get hit, or, So she went out with the sole purpose of just moving what she thought was going to be an empty cardboard box out of the road. And when she went to lift it, she couldn't move it. She's like, oh, my God, this thing weighs a ton. Anyway, she did wind up lifting it, which it wound up being over 100 pounds. So kudos to my wife for suddenly lifting a 100-pound box out of the street. But she did. She put it in the car. She drove to work, and that's when she called me and sent me the pictures. So after a few minutes, we had deduced that this was this crazy industrial radio is basically what it is. And we also, now that I sold it and did a little more research, it looks like it is part of a cell tower, potentially, for a major cell carrier, because there was a sticker on the bottom. I did a lot of, once I listed it, because on Monday, if you remember, I was on the bubble if I should list it or not. I'm like, I don't know what this is, and I don't even know if it works. Obviously, there's no way for me to test this thing, but it is brand spanking new. Only opened because she opened it to see what the heck it was. But it had the original styrofoam. It was wrapped up in those plastic cords, sort of. So pristine, brand new, literally fell off a truck. Well, I did wind up listing it on Tuesday the 30th. I think it was the 30th. It sold the next day. I had received 2 quick offers almost instantly. Blew them off because it was like a third of what my asking price was. But I was very tempted to just take the first one. I'm like, let's just get rid of this thing. It's free money, blah, blah, blah. But I'm very glad the next day it did sell for full price. So let me show everybody what it sold for. If you were watching the very beginning of the show, before I actually came on live, I was doing a screen share and I accidentally popped it up. So you probably saw part of it. Yeah, very interesting stuff. Let me show everybody what this awesome thing that sold. Again, I'll block out the individual's name. But pennies from heaven, as I declared. Let's do a screen share. Let's hope we do this properly. I think we should be able to do this at this point. Alrighty. Are you ready, everybody? Free box falls off a truck. Gets listed a day after we discuss it all on Monday. Sells on Wednesday for $1,300 plus $160 shipping. Free. All because my wife cared enough for her fellow drivers. She didn't want anybody to get hurt. Is this not cool? Hey, Swan Picker, how you doing? I just want to say hi. Anybody who might have come in. Yeah, that's what it looked like it was. No, but I'm waiting. I was waiting for the SWAT team to break down the door or hearing helicopters over my house. But apparently all is well. There were a few of these online. There were a few of these that did sell. So I knew it was in company. I think we were the only ones that had a new one, though. You know, brand spanking new. I don't know if you can tell much from this picture. I'll show you the other pictures. This is the original picture she sent me. I'm like, let's not reinvent the wheel here. You see those caps, like those plastic caps covered? If you look right here, I don't know if you guys can see my arrow when I blow this up, but you see where it says AB? I don't know what the other two letters are. We could say CD, but I'm not sure if it's true. You can kind of see the image of what looks like a radio tower. And it says Radio 4449. Absolutely brand spanking new. There's the styrofoam. There's the box. All the details. That's the top with those, the heat sink on top. I remember CJ had correctly identified this as a heat sink. But anyway, yowza. $1,300. I listed it way high. The ones that had sold, and anybody could look at them, I think were what, 400, 500, 600, 700. But again, I don't think anybody had a brand spanking new one. I put open box because we are the only ones that ever opened the box. Sold in a day. Got the money. They paid immediately. It's a real place. They're not in Nicaragua or anything crazy. It was like a regular, it's in Kentucky, actually. Real place. They sell stuff like this in their store. So maybe they'll turn around and sell this for $5,000 and I'm a fool. I don't care. I got $1,300 for doing absolutely nothing other than lugging this beast to UPS. I shipped it UPS ground, and it was a pain in the neck to rebox it. Actually, it was a real pain, but it did arrive safe and sound, and I already got my good feedback. How cool is that, everybody? You just don't see stuff like this. Isn't it crazy? Hello, everybody. Yeah, amazing. Thank you. All true, though. It's a true story. We have a bird. You have a bird you're having trouble identifying. You search the web. They have orange quills. That's cool. Better than that, Swan Picker, we went away for the weekend. Yeah, I claim no responsibility. Did something in the box say what it was? We had to suss it out. And hi, Brian, how you doing? We just did some, it had everything. It had like a piece of paper and whatnot, but it was very technical jargon, high level radio frequency kind of stuff. But at its core, we had the name, the Ericsson, the KRC, the model number, all that kind of stuff. There was a different model number. It was KRC 161 and then like 789, something like that. That was thousands of dollars. But this 161756 or whatever this one was, again, anybody can go on and check. I think they were like 600, 600, something like that, but they weren't brand new. Hey, Tommy, how you doing? Well, your wife secretly has a better eye for eBay and did a pit maneuver on the Verizon truck. I don't know. I don't think she's that savvy. No, seriously, man, it was an absolute, complete luck, clearly complete luck. But foolishly, all these there was a bunch of cars in front of her that all just drove around it and, to try to avoid it. And it was all because she cared enough to get it out of the road. So, but good to see you, Tommy. Let's hope not. Hey, it's just sell. Yeah, I know, exactly. I hope not. Other people have sold it. Nah, we'll go down together. Signed, sealed, delivered. Like I said, the place that bought it, they sell stuff like this. There was a bunch of items. Who even knew there were a bunch of items like this for sale? But go check it out. You could even just copy and paste that. Well, I guess you can't copy and paste on the screen, but look it up. You'll see there was a few that sold. I was psyched, and I learned something too, which is always a good thing. But what are the odds on that? Hey, Annie, thanks for popping in. Supposedly, it's part of a cell tower. It's a component of a cell tower, is what we gathered from doing some high-level research, Annie. But welcome aboard. It's good to see you. You've been hiding out for quite a while, but it's good to see you back. Today was first day of preschool. Oh, hold on. Baby's well from the going around. Oh, you have little ones, huh? Congratulations. First day of preschool. That's cool. None of my kids went to preschool. I never went to preschool. We just had kindergarten, but I know a lot of people do that nowadays. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, how cool was that? I mean, the biggest pain in the neck was lifting it. Well, the biggest pain in the neck was lifting it into the house. Second biggest pain in the neck was trying to rewrap it after we ripped the top off, because it was so heavy that like regular tape wouldn't cut it. As soon as you lifted it, it kind of, the weight of the thing ripped the tape off. So it was a little bit of surgery, but we got it done. And it was successfully delivered today, so kind of pumped. Good to see you, Annie. Has your crazy tourist stuff started now that it's September up there in Massachusetts? Oh, that's funny. I had like that too. My oldest is 31 now, so she was and then my youngest is 19. So I think it was the same thing. Like she was a senior in high school and my youngest was in kindergarten or something. It's kind of cool. And then everything in between, of course. Craziness has commenced. Yeah, I figured that. September 1st, right? I know Annie is also on Whatnot. I've watched several of her auctions. Annie, feel free to put a link in for your, I think you can do that. Put a link in for your Whatnot if you'd like to. If not, ooh, my screen froze. Hold on. Am I frozen, everybody? No, I'm back. My YouTube screen froze over there. Craziness has commenced. Thank you. You bet she was surprised. That's awesome. She stopped to grab. No, seriously, that's what makes it kind of really happy. Makes me really happy is that it was a good intent, you know? Witch hats everywhere, sure. Ah, the omnipresent one is risen. Good morning, Mach 2. Good to see you, Dawn. I just showed off that killer sale that we talked about last Monday. It did wind up selling in a day. But it's good to see it. Dawn, can you put a link, please, for... see, as soon as she comes in, we put her to work, folks. Can you please put a link for Annie's Whatnot page? I still don't really know what to call this thing. Their Whatnot account, their Whatnot whatever. If you can find her. If not, I'll just do it. She has a kind of creative name on Whatnot. But go check her out for sure. What I like about Annie's auctions, kind of similar to me, despite the fact I've been doing mostly print ads recently, I mix it up. Like I did a bunch of vinyl auctions. I did a CD auction. I did a potluck auction, which was a little of everything. I've done a bunch of the print ad things. She does the same thing. She mixes it up and tries different things, which I think is kind of cool. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and Annie is in the heart of Salem, Tommy. So the center of hell, some people call it. Well, I hope not. I think most things are probably dangerous. I actually talked to her about that. I'm like, what if that was like, you know, medical waste or something, some nonsensical thing like that, or garbage or sewage or whatever, you know? But it wound up working out. Yeah, it's like it's a play on analog. Dawn Dawn is fired. Yeah, I know. Just, she had one job, Tommy. She just wakes up. There you go. Annie log. Yeah, that's creative. I like that. You would have just ran right over it. You would have messed up your car. Let me tell you, 100-something pounds. That would have been a boo-boo. I'm surprised people didn't run it over thinking it was just like a piece of cardboard. They would have screwed up their car really bad. There it is, everybody. Go check her out. Now you're following. Good job, Dawn. Thank you. How you doing with Whatnot, Annie? You doing well? You're on a lot. Your next 3 will be jewelry, Halloween, then back to it. Yeah, well, Halloween would be ideal, right? If you have a bunch. Something tells me you might have some Halloween stuff. Cool. You like mixing it up like that? What have you had the most success with so far, Annie? We're doing a unofficial interview with Annie here. First time she's been on in a while. You're so conflicted with Whatnot, or Worth Point, or are you mixing the two together? All refresh, probably a 7-hour nap. Can't put. I mean, you know what I mean? She probably forgot the coffee. She woke up. She just hit the button. Saw I was on. Dinner time. All right, good. Enjoy. CJ's here to take care of any undesirables. You did best with ephemera so far. Cool. Yeah, me too. I mean, surprise, surprise, right? Always talking about print ads, but I'm glad I did the other stuff, and I'm still totally up for doing other things. The albums, the vinyl stuff did fine for me. The big knock on vinyl, I know everybody's talked about it, is the shipping thing is still a bit of an issue. It's very expensive. If you buy one, you're paying like $9.50 for shipping on one record that you might have picked up for $8. So until they incorporate that media mail thing, I don't know if I'm going to keep doing the albums. Of course, if you buy more than one, then you get a little bit of a discount, and maybe it's worth your while. And other people do things like they'll put up something really inexpensive as the first item, and then they put the album as the second one. And if they buy that, they get the discounted shipping. But whatever, there's all kinds of shenanigans going on over on Whatnot, which involving shipping anyway. I hope they get a little bit better grip on that process, the shipping thing in general. But I'm still a big fan of the platform. I like it a lot. I like the freedom to do your own style of show. I like the ability to basically sell anything you want to sell, anytime you want to sell it. Those are really cool. And the fast nickel, as everybody talks about it, it's definitely true. You can get rid of stuff. John was saying, I don't know if he's still here, but Popeye was saying earlier about how now, he's like, I just bought 1,000 more postcards last night or whatever. But he correctly said that the beauty now is it's not just going to sit on a shelf for 5 years until you get to listing it. Throw them right up on Whatnot. Like, buy them from one, put them up on Whatnot, and he's going to make money hand over fist basically instantly. There's a lot to be said for that. You feel the same way about records? Yeah. I'm not going to swear it off or anything. I didn't have anybody complain about it per se on my shows. But from a buying perspective, because I picked up a few albums just for myself, I was like, are you kidding me? You think you're getting a great deal on a record and you wind up spending $15 and the record cost $4. It just stinks. So hopefully allegedly they are going to incorporate the media mail, but don't hold your breath. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they have to. Because the vinyl, it's a huge community on Whatnot. The vinyl people, it's very, very big. A very, a very big genre on Whatnot, or whatever you want to call it, is the vinyl community. I sold some CDs. I've talked about this before, so I'm not revealing anything new, but I have a ton of CDs, like I'm sure a lot of us do. And I had 2 CD auctions, and they both went really well. And they will fit. They'll get you under the pound, at least for one. And they're super easy to store. All the things that we've talked about for 30 years with CDs still apply. They're still collectible. They sound phenomenal. They're super easy to ship as far as Whatnot goes, and they're making a bit of a resurgence, which is good to see. I have a whole video about that. Whatnot, you want to sell what you do not enjoy selling there. For example, the items that are included with box lots, table buys, the great, wonderful vintage items, just not your favorite to sell. Yeah, and just kind of, you don't have to go through the hassle of listing them and putting in all those specifics and things that you're not familiar with, right? You could just kind of say, here it is. You don't have to take a million pictures of some of those things. They can't, hold on, Tommy says, they can't let media mail exist. Nicole State is on Whatnot. Oh my God. Called you put Dawn 7-hour nap. Yeah, absolutely agreed. We'll put them on eBay and see if they sell. And if they don't sell, you can go back to Whatnot. You have to do lots. Yeah, exactly. Very true. So even with records, yeah, you could sell records lotted up. They're still going to be heavy. They're just heavy pieces of, um, heavy products in general. I think theoretically you could ship an album and sneak it in under a pound, but if you do, you're going to risk shoddy shipping. So I'd rather ship it, carefully. It's hysterical, but I'm sure a lot of you guys that sell records, we have the record boxes, right? And of course I bubble wrap it and I put a little bag around it so there's no moisture getting in. When you do all that, you're just going to sneak over. It's like 16.8 ounces or something ridiculous. But if you wanted to be cheap and not put the bubble wrap and all, I mean, I would never do that to people that are buying records because, again, I'm a consumer of records. I love records. I buy them all the time. And I wouldn't want somebody just throwing my record in a box with no protection and shipping it out to try to get it under the pound thing. Dawn had a 25-hour. That's right. But she put in her dues. She's been listening up a storm, and she worked hard all weekend. So what's wrong with a little R&R? You sold a CD you paid 50 cents for $20. There you go. So I'm saying great ROI on CDs. Much easier from a shipping perspective and a storage perspective than records. And yeah, I'm a big fan. I sell them all the time too. I sell them on eBay still. And like Tommy said, I mean, yeah, you could lot those up too, for sure. Like artists, let's say like a whole Zeppelin collection, and get really good money for that stuff. Or even like genre. I years ago, not years ago, but 3 or 4 years ago on eBay, I was getting rid of some CDs because I had so many. I created my own like man-made lots. Like I would say like, hard rock essentials or whatever. And I put, AC/DC and whatever. Then I put like, blues and just like so it's various artists, but it's all kind of the umbrella of a specific music genre. And they sold really well. And I would sell like 20 of them at a time in those days. Those good old days. Now I would just go on to Whatnot. Nice 78s. Yeah, thank you. That was actually, it's funny, the footage, if you look carefully at the footage, you see there's no leaves on the trees. So that was like in early spring. I had the footage in my computer, and I was thinking this morning about a video. I just wanted to get a new video up because it'd been a while. And I'm like, oh, I have this footage in here. Let me put something together quickly. I wound up selling a bunch of those 78s already, Stephen, but they really are cool. And the good thing about, if you noticed, I kind of flipped through them quickly, but there's a lot of wacky labels in there, which is a good thing. Like some lesser known artists, some lesser known labels, they tend to sound a little bit better with 78s. A lot of gospel records, which do very well for me, which I think I mentioned in the video. But thanks for that. Yeah, it was a nice little, mini. It wasn't a haul. What was it, 25 or 30 records? But it was something. And it was just driving by. I was out in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, running an errand, doing something completely unrelated, and I just happened upon this place. I'm like, let me go check it out. Depends on the album. Yeah, that's true too. Right. Well, the thing is, the really thin, lousy records, the 70s usually, the 70s albums, there was the oil shortage and the gas shortage and all that stuff, and it affected the material that's used for vinyl. And they got thinner and thinner, the records, and as a byproduct, yeah, it's good for shipping, but they don't usually last that well. I like the thicker records. I like the heavier records. But you're right, the brand new ones they put on like ultra heavy vinyl. That's cool. Yeah. Good luck with that. I haven't seen any. I haven't actually watched anybody do a jewelry one, but I'm sure it's very, very lucrative. What if you sold 10 record lots? What would the shipping be versus one record? It depends on what you put in your shipping parameters for the one. Like, if you do a lot of 10, you go in and create your own shipping profile. You don't really create your own shipping profile. I wish you could. You pick one of their pre-chosen shipping profiles. So I would weigh whatever my 10 records are. Let's just say, for argument's sake, 10 pounds. And I would just put in that parameter in my shipping profile, 10 pounds. And then it'll just, whatever their shipping methodology is over on Whatnot, they'll calculate it. And then when the buyer goes to make their bid, it'll automatically charge them what that value is. It's going to be a lot more than one record, because one record, if you go to over a pound, it's going to be like basically priority mail. It's like $9.50. So I don't know if that made a lot of sense. You'd have to put in the specifics for the 10 and be as honest as you could be. Like, what size will your box be? How much the 10 records weigh? and it'll just automatically calculate it when they go in and put their bid in, or their winning auction, I should say. Hey, nothing wrong with napping. Oh no, who's sick again? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You apologize daily for the bad things I said about naps when you were a kid. Yeah, I know, right? Used to be a punishment. Now it's a reward. Dawn, all I see is rainbows out of the corner of my eye, and you're very lucky I saw your name there. Taylor Swift LPs need to list. Sure. Popular girl. I think a lot of us that dabble in this stuff probably have stacks of 78s to go through. They really do sell. Again, we're talking long tail, obviously. But like everything else that's long tail, if you have lots of them, you're going to sell enough to make some money. They're dirt cheap. You can get away with murder with 78s. In a place like, if you guys watch, I did release a video, which is what they were talking about earlier. I forgot to mention this. I just released a quick video, 5 o'clock, 5:30, about a quick little 78 haul I picked up at an antique mall. And I go through them, and they were $1 each, which is actually a little high for me, but still, they'll all sell for $10, $15, $20 on the high side sometimes. But like Steven says, they wind up becoming stacks. I try to get them organized right away. I have, like, I'm sure a lot of you guys have the milk crates that you use. At least I do all the time for albums and stuff. I try to get them organized right away, list them right away, because if you don't, it's like everything else. It's just going to become a death pile of 78s. And 78s are extremely heavy, extremely fragile, usually pretty dirty just by virtue of the age of these things and the product that they use. The shellac gets dirty really quickly. Oh, with the mustache, with the rainbows. Yeah, exactly. I know, right? Exactly. And the thing that's mysterious that I don't like, they're not transparent about their shipping. It doesn't give you a stated price. Like if I put in what we just discussed, if I put in a 10-pound box, 12 by 12, whatever, right? Square foot box, let's just say for argument's sake, it's not going to say, okay, that equates to $10.75 or whatever. It's like, until the person actually goes in, you don't know what that is. And then when you go to ship your label, unlike eBay where you can get a discount for being top rated or whatever, or you get a slight discount, it shows you what you're actually paying versus what they paid. Not on Whatnot, nothing. It's all netted out behind the scenes. And a lot of people have discussed that Whatnot is obviously keeping that overage in all these cases. And there's a lot of overage going on. It just washes out behind the scenes. You never see what you just generate a label. It doesn't say what you paid, doesn't say what they paid. It's crazy. Cameron, you see, long ago, probably like a month or two ago, a fine gentleman named Bartomania, who was in the chat earlier, hopefully he still is, came in as a welcome member of my chat on a show. But right prior to him arriving, we would have been barraged by those like adult site stupid spam things that you get sometimes on these shows, and they were coming in hard and fast, no pun intended. And as they came in, a couple of my snipers, namely CJ, to an extent, Omnipresent Dawn, I think, was involved in that process that day. I don't remember for sure. And Winter Crow, I think, was too. They were sniping these guys out. And what they had was these rainbow icons. Before it said, XXX, blah, 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 whatever it said. So I was kind of getting trained when I saw that rainbow or a series of rainbows. I thought for sure that was a spam thing. So as I've mentioned a few times, if you're new to the show, you don't know this, but I'm looking straight ahead, obviously, and I'm using a program called StreamYard to do the streaming of the show. To my left is a totally different computer where I have my show streaming live on YouTube. So I can kind of see the comments as they come in on YouTube. There's like a 10-second delay. And here's the live stuff. Well, anyway, I quickly looked over a little peripheral vision action, saw the rainbows, and just out of like almost a reflex, boom, banned them from the channel, whatever the equivalent is of banning, whatever, deleted them. Well, unbeknownst to me, Bartomania came in and put a rainbow icon before whatever he wrote, and I just knocked him right out. Eliminated. We thought for a minute, we got rid of him on the entire internet. We thought he was like banned permanently from the internet because he was like nowhere to be found. And I went in and I tried to go back and get him back, and he was just gone for like a week or so. And we were all petrified thinking that we like somehow got rid of him. So anyway, that's the story behind the rainbow thing. So now I always joke with Dawn. I'm like, don't put any rainbows. So if you put a rainbow, I'm going to see it and wipe you out. That's what's wrong with rainbows. Annie has tons of 78s on eBay. Same with me, Annie. I don't have tons, but I have probably 100 at least. It's not tons. And probably 200 to list. There's a lot of research to be done with 78s. You know, there's a lot of parameters, especially if you find those offbeat ones. You're not going to find a lot of good matches for many of them, which is often a good thing because you might have like a one-off or, you know, a scarce one. But no, hardly, Dawn. Taylor Swift, anything seems to sell. Yes. You have hoodies, 50 to 100. 2 went to Australia. Oh, wow. Wow, that's crazy. I know you're a shoe guy. Does she have a shoe line? I have no idea. Does this girl have a shoe line? Because I'm sure they would sell too. Shipping on what now? Well, you know this, Annie, because you do this all the time. You know how you go in and you put your shipping profile per item, like whatever you're putting up in your dashboard or whatever it's called, your inventory. You go in and you have to, as you put in each inventory item, you pick one of their pre-selected things, and they give you they'll give you an example. It says like I'm making this up because I don't remember, 3 to 6 ounces, and then it says like 1 Funko Pop in parentheses, meaning like the equivalent of 1 Funko Pop because that's what they're known for. And the next one's whatever, 6 to 11, the small package. So you pick these pre-filled in parameters for shipping for your item. You know, best. Again, in that case, because Tommy brought up a great point. What if I want to sell 10 big old records at the same time and it's like 11 pounds, 12 pounds? You could put in one shipping profile for that big thing. You don't have to put each record as a pound because then forget about it. They'll pay $100 to ship it. But anyway, I don't like the way it all nets out behind the scene. You ever notice when you print your, when you print off your labels, you see nothing? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they don't refund you. You don't get any of that back. They don't give back their buyers any money. At least that's my understanding. There's an overage, but there's also people underestimating on purpose or by accident. Yeah, but I'd be willing to bet that the overage far exceeds the underage. Because if it didn't, they'd be out of business. I think they'll force them to change. Yeah, I mean, again, it's a super popular platform that's exploded in really, really short order. And I would be willing to bet that they want to keep this momentum going. And if they start hearing, especially we keep going back to vinyl, because that's the one I know a lot of people have complained about, the lack of media mail. They're going to almost be forced to have to do something about that at some point. Or else they could potentially lose a ton of business. So I'd like to think that they would get on that sooner than later. One of the guys, one of the marketing people or something from Whatnot, was on with Dominic on YouTube a couple of months ago, and he was really cool, and a lot of people were on that chat and watching. It was right before I joined Whatnot, actually. I think it was like late spring, and he was saying, you know, look out for media mail. We hear you, folks. We hear you. It's coming. It's been a few months, still nothing, but we'll see. Yeah, shellac, exactly, because it was the easiest material to use recording needles. Oh, that's interesting. I know they're shellac, but I didn't know that was the reason behind it. Yeah, exactly. I think that's true too. You don't get that big discount. It's all retail, which is like playing rack rate at a hotel. Hey, Lori, how you doing? Welcome. Good to see you. Taylor Swift does all these weird exclusives for Walmart or records and does different colors of tissue paper to get to. Oh, really? I didn't know that. You don't think it'll sink Whatnot? I think sales will eventually be dinged for undomesticating the weight. That's possible too. You're guilty of underestimating sometimes because you're always compulsively adding things, a lot to make them up. Well, that happens once in a while with me too. You just make one up quickly, and in the interest of time, especially if you're live on the air and you're doing your shtick and all, you just kind of scramble over and get anything up just so that you can put it up, pin it. I haven't had any trouble with that. I really haven't, because the stuff, you know, if you go back to my vinyl stuff, they all weigh what they weigh. My ads weigh what they weigh. My CDs weigh what they weigh. Like I haven't had any. Like I'm not putting up, you know, vases or like wacky statues or, you know, things that might have an odd dimension to it that I can't kind of easily guess on. So I guess like everything else, it depends on what you sell. My nose continues to itch for no reason. I apologize, folks. Guilty of underestimating. Yeah. I know it's best efforts, obviously. By dinged, you just mean they'll charge the difference later. And who knows, maybe they are doing that. I mean, I haven't seen anything. You definitely see when there's a debit, you see it. It says you get a posting. In my case, I get an email too. I'm sure most of you guys get that. It'll say like, you got a whatnot payment of -$4. And it usually applies to giveaways, for the shipping cost of whatever your giveaway is. But I would imagine if, like Dawn was saying, if they're going to ding you, quote unquote, you'd probably just see a debit entry in your ledger. And maybe it would say shipping difference or something. Hopefully they could tie it back to what specific item it was rather than just throwing out a debit in your account. That would not be cool. That would not be cool at all. Oh, my goodness. And I definitely aspire. I mean, it's a long way to go, but I think everybody knows this. If you don't, I'll let you know. They do have a program within Whatnot. Correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody knows the specifics, because I'm just talking without looking this up. But I think it's 1,000 sales. There's also a $1 threshold. I think it's whatever comes first. But basically, if you have 1,000 sales and you keep your seller rating over like 4.5, I think it is, you can get instant money, which is kind of cool. Because as it exists now, until you get that 1,000 sales, basically, like, we'll use my example because I've been doing Wednesday night auctions. So last Wednesday is almost a week ago already, even though we had the 3-day weekend. But 6 days ago, I still haven't gotten paid for any of the items from Wednesday's auction yet because they have to be delivered. And then after they're delivered, it's like a 1 or 2 day holding period for whatever stupid reason while they collect interest on all our money. And then you get credited like piecemeal for every specific item you sold. And it usually takes about a week to get the proceeds. Well, anyway, if you can get over that 1,000, which I know if Popeye isn't there, I'm sure he's very close to it. I think we talked about that a while ago. That'll be really nice. It'll be more like eBay where something you hear the cha-ching or whatever the equivalent is, somebody wins an auction and basically you'll get your money pretty much instantly. So that would be really cool. Very, very cool. Mostly underestimate if you do. You'll plop down vintage maps while the 2-minute timer runs. Get whatever you land on the table. Yeah, I definitely get that. Yeah, totally. You're scrambling sometimes, Dawn. And, I mean, I'm not speaking for any, but I would assume that's a good thing. It means you're selling stuff, things are going well. Like, let's say you initially set up, you have a thing called inventory. Let's say you put up 20 items or 20 lots or whatever you want to put up, and you're down to like number 18 and you're kicking butt and you don't want to lose the momentum. You can just kind of throw in some new stuff. Or if you see somebody like Annie who kind of dabbles in a lot of different fields, she might see a trend. Oh, my ephemera is doing really well. My yarn is not doing well or whatever. So she might bail on the yarn and start putting more ephemeral lots kind of ad hoc, like right away. So it's usually a good thing. Yeah, I think you could look it up, Cameron. I'm pretty sure it's 1,000 sales. And like I said, there's a $1 component to it, but it's not like that you have to reach both. If you get 1,000 sales or if you get $10,000, I don't know what it is. I'm sure if anybody wants to take a second and look it up, it's available in Whatnot's page, but they have a program and it's called whatever it's called, early payment program or whatever it's called. But it is cool. It's something to aspire to. It's motivation to get stuff sold. And it really would be nice to just get that instant payment because as it stands today, it's about a week, which I'm not complaining about because I get a kick out of it. And again, the quick nickel, you get rid of stuff really quickly. I love the interaction with people. I just have a lot of fun doing them. So for me, it's a joy, genuinely. Righty. Yeah, right. You get fired up. I know. Again, one of the isn't that a huge benefit of it, Annie? I'm sure you would agree. What do they call them? Pop-ups now? Like if you wanted, like right now, anybody who's on Whatnot, I could do this. I could just go in at 9 o'clock and say, you know what, everybody, I'm going on. I love that. I love the freedom to just kind of go in whenever you feel like doing it and staying on for 6 hours if you want and staying on for 6 minutes if things are crashing and burning. You can say, good night, everybody, and bail. No harm, no foul, no penalties. I love it. I'm excited. You're 1/3 of the way. Congratulations, Cameron. That's pretty good. I'm not quite there. You know why? I'm doing all lots. I mean, I think everything I've sold has been a lot. So I'm selling hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of items, but one lot, if it has 10 things, it just counts as one sale. So, hey, Jennifer, how you doing? Love the show? Great to have you. Thank you very much. Glad you're here. We are just chit-chatting this evening. Oh, wait a minute. Did anybody notice my backdrop, by the way? Who knows what this is? Who knows what this is? Speaking of records and CDs and vinyl and all that good stuff, it was great doing vintage maps and whatnot, gas station ones. I have a bunch of those, 76, because it was going to take them eons to photograph. Exactly. That's something I think we touched on a little while ago, but I totally agree, Annie. Like, it's a great opportunity to get rid of things that you don't feel like taking 45 pictures of, from different angles. It might just be an awkward product itself. It's just difficult to get good photographs. Now you can just go live. Here it is, everybody. Answer questions as they come in. It's a great, great platform. I love it. I'm a big fan. And again, we're going to knock on the proverbial wood here. I've had nothing but good times on this thing. I've never had an issue with any idiots buying things, scammers, any of that kind of nonsense. I've never had any shipping problems other than the aforementioned shenanigans going behind the scene, but nothing, no like lost shipments, nothing. Everything's been really, really good. But again, it comes down to the people. I have good people all the time come into my auctions. Many of you, like the auction professor, wouldn't like losing money on whatnot, rather sell on eBay. It's the quick nickel philosophy, Stephen. It depends on what it is. Like, I wouldn't put stuff up. How do I say this correctly? If I had some really, really cool item, name what the item is. I don't care what it is. Some really cool, rare item that I know I can get big bucks for on eBay. I wouldn't give it away for the quick nickel on whatnot either. But if it's a run-of-the-mill thing that I have tons and again, we go back to Popeye, we go back to Kelly, who has 28,000 listings of postcards, probably more by this point, probably 30. If you have tons and tons of a product that you can readily replenish, and you just want to kind of get rid of them and blow them out and make money, it's a great platform. I wouldn't use it for stuff that's really special, super valuable, anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, for me with the print ads, again, I have hundreds of thousands of them. And you know what? For me, it's a time saver. I don't have, not that it takes a long time if you watch my video, but I don't even have to scan these ads. I don't have to do anything. I carefully snip off the edges, as you've all seen. Anybody who's purchased anything from me. Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, whatnot, by the way. Jiminy, flip it. But anyway, seriously, if you buy my ads, you'll see I trim them off. They're all ready to roll for you guys as the buyer. But my work is cut in half. I don't have to scan any of them. I don't have to list them. It's just, bam, here's 10. Take them, take them, take them. I have so many, It's a great forum for something like that, for me personally. I wouldn't, like you're saying with Auction Professor, I think he was frustrated because he's selling stuff for pennies on the dollar, but he's also putting things up that maybe he shouldn't be. He tried to do records the first auction, and he went up really high with the prices, and he wasn't having a lot of success, and he got frustrated, and he went up lowering it. And then I think he got jaded by the whole thing and saying, well, I'm not going to make any money. I can make $20 in this album. I'm not going to give it away for $5. I definitely get that. So like I said, my philosophy is I'm going to put, for the most part anyway, I'm going to put stuff up that I can easily replenish, that I have tons of, that I'm not afraid of making 20% of what I could potentially make on eBay over a period of time. As we've discussed, they're long tail, so are postcards, so are 78s, so are lots of things. So in the interest of just moving product quickly, making a quick buck, still making a good profit all the while, bear in mind, don't go buy a postcard for $2 and then auction it off for $3 or $2.50. That's foolish. But if you have pennies into something or less, and you can make $10, $20, $30, I'll do that all day. That's my 2 cents. Feel free to disagree. You select selling maps. Unless, of course, Dawn, you have one of my cool scanners, because then those maps are child's play, because you could fold out the whole thing and get them on my scanner. But yeah, it is a pain in the neck. Puddings has a rainbow maker. How you doing, Puddings? Speaking of postcards, these are not, fancy maps. Yes. Yeah, exactly. And they'd sit there forever. And they're infamous for being part of your death pile, at least mine, right? I probably have right now a bunch of those foldable stupid maps, the roads of Pennsylvania, 1969, Tesco, that'll sit there for eons. Lori, good job. This would be the Animals cover, folks. Animals, Pink Floyd. Pigs on the Wing. Pigs Flying, Power Station. That's the cover. Great, great, great record. I've been all over this record in recent time. They just did they're releasing very soon, if it's not out yet, a remaster of it. But legendary, great record. Very dark, very negative, but killer music, killer singing. It's fun for people who want to get a whole pile of things. Yes. Exactly. Again, I don't think anybody's under the impression of anything else, but excuse me, just about everybody that's on Whatnot is other resellers right now, at least for the stuff we're selling. Definitely for the ephemera and the postcards. So yeah, you're giving them a great deal. My example of my print ads, I'm doing lots of 10 usually, or 5 or 10, and they're selling for like $10 to $20 maybe. That's if I could get 20, 25 per paper if I want on eBay, but it's going to take a while. So in the interest of getting and moving things out, I'm taking a hit, quote unquote, but I'm still making $20 on something that cost me probably less than 20 cents. You know what I mean? And then I'm also encouraging somebody else that enjoys this stuff and wants to go out and resell it. So it's a win-win. I don't know how long that circle can continue, though, of just resellers buying. Somebody had a great term. Escapes me now, but basically like a circle, like it's just a never-ending thing. Like, Popeye sells something and I buy it, and I sell the same thing, and somebody else, Ben buys it, and then Ben sells it, and Annie buys it. And it's just this wicked circle. We got to get outside of that little loop, but for now, everything's going well. Animals, great record, Lori. Cranking Pigs before, great song. Pigs, 3 kinds, or three of them. Oh, Dawn. Correct, Annie. This would be Animals, released in February of '77. Great record. It's my record du jour, but it's been lasting about a week. I've been like on a binge listening to this thing, cranking this thing. Such a great record. Kelly, I love Kelly's always one for stats. So here we go. 90% of the postcards you're buying on Whatnot are in the $5 to $10 range. Bread and butter items that sell constantly that people can get for pennies on the dollar. Yep. Sure. Dawn, is that your Whatnot? My show tomorrow. Oh, thank you very much, Dawn. I appreciate it. I hope Dawn gets on Whatnot. Dawn would do very well on Whatnot. If you sold the Whatnot Lives, that would be selling the $20 postcards. Right, exactly. And Kelly is a frequent purchaser of mine, which I greatly appreciate. He knows the value, too, because you could see his eyes light up with certain ones with his bids. But Kelly knows. So he's stocking up on some, great ads that he knows aren't going to sell overnight, but he's going to have a nice little stash to get, 20 times his money on. It's a bright kid. Well, yeah, maybe not the whole map. I know that's why I said I was realizing now if you fold the whole thing, I guess that's true. But like at least how they usually like leaflets that fold out 3 or 4 pages. Let's say you could get those up anyway. It's easier than throwing it through an Epson. Yeah, Sandy, that would be a Pink Floyd thing. Animals record. Yeah, I know. I caught myself. You should though. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, kudos to your hubby. The man knows music. Only Pink Floyd would have a cover like that. Yep. Me and the husband have been watching all these dumb best songs of '79, 70s on YouTube. Sure. Yeah, I get caught up in those things too. That's the question. I could still hear you saying you would never break the chain, Annie, but apparently. Yeah, seriously, that's my concern, is that it's just this nonstop, whirlwind of activity amongst resellers, just buying and selling from each other in an endless loop. And for how long can that last? I think Whatnot will really, really evolve like eBay, where people, Mr. and Mrs. Smith of Utah just come out and start buying stuff from a collectible standpoint, not just trying to resell it. That's when the money will really go up for all of us that resell this stuff. I hope anyway. Right now, it's pretty much just selling to other resellers, which I have no problem with. Again, I really don't. Everybody wins, Have you ever heard any of the piano tribute to Floyd? Not that I know of, no. Who is playing said piano? I know I should watch a show, which I will, but what do you start your lots of 10 ads at? $10. Which is ridiculous. It's $1 an ad, and every one of those ads will sell for at least 15, every one of them, and some sell for 20, 25. But that's what I've been doing, pretty much. You sold an ad overnight? Oh, cool. 5x6 black and white dog food. Beautiful. Yep, which you always talk about, Dawn, bringing up a great point. You don't always have to sell full-page ads. You can sell the little quarter pages, the really, really tiny ones, I've sold with frequency. The back of a lot of those, especially the really old stuff like circa turn of the century stuff, you have great quack medicine opportunity. Quack medicine ads are in there. Little square inch ads that can sell for 10, 15 bucks on their own. I've done many a time. Exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Market to non-resellers. That's when that switch is flipped, I think we'll all be in a really good position, especially those of us who are in now, because it's still pretty relatively early. I encourage any of you guys who watch me that are into this stuff, don't be afraid, don't be shy. If you're not in it already, apply, especially if you have a stash of good stuff. Get in there. Kelly should be selling on Whatnot, but he's too busy counting his he's amassing an incredible collection. He's put them up on eBay, which I think is awesome. But like Kelly would do great on eBay, on Whatnot. A lot of you guys who aren't doing it, Dawn would do great on Whatnot. Palmer, Massachusetts. Mark, how you doing? SM Postcards, traveling from the great land of Chicago to Palmer, Massachusetts. Did you go to that legendary, Annie did a video about it. What is it called? The big outdoor flea market thing. I can't think of what it's called. Annie's going to kill me. Brimfields. Brimfield, is it Brim or Bryn? Farther east, the more... Yeah, you definitely... It's a different land from Chicago, that's for sure. Different languages. Congratulations, Puddings. That's good work. And I sold... I don't know if you were on earlier, Puddings. Annie wasn't on either, but I sold 5 postcards over the weekend, and I'm over the moon about that because I just started listing them. I sold 5, a lot of 5 Polish postcards, which I've had for like 5 years and never touched. So I'm kind of really pumped up on the whole postcard. Kind of like you guys that are just getting into print ads. I'm just getting into postcards. So when they sell, I get pumped, I think I probably have about 100 or so listed, maybe a little more. And in the last week or so, Dawn knows. Every time I sell one, I tell Dawn, I sold a postcard. I probably sold maybe 10. So 10%, not terrible. I'm being brand new in that genre. I know, and that's like to Annie's point about marketing to people. They need to market to non-resellers. Hey, Jeff, how you doing? Good evening. Brimfield. There you go. Cool. Why else would you be in Massachusetts? You're either going to Brimfield's or you're going to visit Annie in Salem, like everybody else, like all the other witches. Is it cold there, Kelly? We had an incredible rainy day. First rainy day probably since April or May. No exaggeration there, by the way. Like 24 hours. It's been raining nonstop since last night. It was very, very dark out this morning from the rain. Just dark, cloudy, ominous looking skies, pouring rain all day. Temperatures didn't get out of like 70, 72. So I did get a little, pep in my step this morning. I was kind of pumped up for fall all of a sudden, which is just ridiculous. Fired up. It's a rite of passage, but I have one of those candle warmer things, wax warmer things down here. Make things smell pleasant. What did I fire up this morning? Yes, I admit it. Halloween scented. It was actually Jack, from Nightmare Before Christmas. We have a scent from Disney called Jack's Halloween, something like that. Fired it up. It's basically like a cinnamon apple smell like they all are. But man, it gets you totally in the mood when you start getting those smells in and stuff. And it was dark out the windows. It was like, all cozied up. It actually made me very productive. I cleaned up a lot. Just physically cleaned up the space around me and vacuumed and got stuff ready to roll. Oh, that stinks. We had a beautiful weekend, and then today, like I said, suddenly, yeah, Holton. Brimfield, I got to catch up. I'm behind. How far? I'm only 2 minutes behind. Okay. You got rained out today, hitting it hard next 3 days. Okay, cool. Yeah, it poured all day here, too. It's Brimfield. Yeah, that's where I heard it from was Don. I didn't know, but I know a lot of people talk. And I remember your video, Annie, on YouTube. I think so, Puddings. I think I'm definitely I'm a believer. And, like everything else, right? When it's one thing to preach and hear everybody talk about this, but when you actually go out and do your own and you see some success, obviously it's very motivating. And now, my knee-jerk reaction is forget everything. I'm just going to load up on thousands and thousands of postcards. I'm not going to do that. But it's tempting because I see the potential. which is very cool. Again, not going to get rich on them right now. They don't sell for, but the one I just showed you was $15, which from what I've seen is pretty good for a postcard, you know? The other ones I'm selling for $6, $5. So 15 was like, whoa, that's a high-end postcard for me. Postcard finds during the travel has been slim pickings, have only half a box full so far. Did we agree on what a box represents? I think Cameron had chimed in with 1,000 roughly. Is that true, Mark? A box of postcards. Like, is there a standardized count of, you know, how many postcards make up a box of postcards? I don't know. I'm asking because I'm trying to learn. Cameron had said something about 1,000 in a box, which if so, that's awesome. To me, having half a box, I'd be pretty pumped. But then again, you drove, you know, a couple of 100 miles to go get them. So I don't think you want to come home with 100 postcards. Hey, Kim. Again, she was the first one to say hi, and she's been quiet, but now she chimes in with, getting ready to finally start the long-tail reselling game. I imagine buyers may be few and far between. So when I get an offer, do I risk losing the sale or negotiate and accept? Totally up to you and your business model. And I mean, I usually, unless it's if you have something, well, again, we'll make up a number. If you have a print ad listed for $20 and somebody offers you $1, that's a hard reject. If somebody offers you 10, maybe you play along and you lower it to 17 or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's all, again, it's totally up to you and what you want to make from these items. But long tail doesn't mean you give something away because somebody's interested in it. You know what I mean? Hey, Eric, how you doing? Welcome. Is it raining up there too? Is the barn getting wet? Good to see Eric. Eric knows. Eric, what is this? What's my background? Eric knows what this is. Actually, so do most of you guys. It's hard to buy postcards at Brimfield. They aren't cheap. Yeah, that's, you know, that's an interesting point, Annie. Like, Brimfield being so popular, is it basically priced like, is it priced like almost comparable to what you would try to sell for on eBay? Like most things, are they kind of like, these are obviously savvy people in these booths or whatever they are, I would imagine. Hey, Grant, how you doing? Good to see you. Welcome, Grant Williams. It's been raining for 24 hours. High of 60. Oh my God, really? Oh man, we just hit and you're in Maine. It's 70 here now in Pennsylvania. But we didn't get out. I think the high was like 71, which is the coolest it's been in eons. But now it's just going to be low of 68 because it's just so cloudy and rainy and it's muggy as all get out. But immediately overnight, I mean, yesterday we were in Long Island, which is not that far from you, and it was in the 80s. So you must be over some kind of Mendoza line where the weather changes radically. Thank you. Sure, the animal's going. It's my it's my album that I'm like, you know, I don't know if anybody else gets on a kick with a certain record or whatever. For some reason, the last week or so, I've been cranking Animals. I read that they're going to do a re-release, like a remix of it, very soon. It might even come out in September. I don't know. Feel free to look it up. But kind of inspired by that. I'm like, I forgot how much I had. I remember getting this when it was new, 77. I was like 10 years old, and I had this. I got The Wall when it was new. But great stuff. Really, really great. Very short album. I mean, long songs, but there's only really 5 songs, I guess. But one is like the same song, just bookends the album. If anybody doesn't know Animals, it's kind of forgotten in the Floyd canon, but it's for real huge Pink Floyd fans. It's at the top of the list. It's a great, great record. A lot of social commentary, obviously. Very bitter. Roger at his bitter best, angry at the world. That is a good question. What do you think, CJ? I told you what I thought. You're being more selective. And you obviously know what you're looking for, as would John, as would Kelly, as would all you guys that do postcards for a living. That was my fear, that this place it's legendary, supposedly, for being this great place to go. And I don't know if that means that these are very savvy individuals. Like I said, not just postcards, everything. I would imagine everything is kind of at a premium. But like any place else, I'm sure you're always going to, if you're really good at what you do, you're going to look for dealers that are making mistakes, right? And try to capitalize on that. But I could definitely see it being a very fun place to go. The town of the event is actually called Brimfield. Very good. It's like with anything, take a reasonable offer. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Again, it really is up to you. I hate to throw something right back in your face and say that's up to you. That's not what I meant. But I mean, yeah, we'll use the example again. $20 item. If somebody offers me $1 personally, I'm deleting. No. I might even block you. But if you're like within 50% or so, I mean, not that that's really a reasonable offer, but you might entertain them a little bit and play a little. Go back. That's my philosophy anyway. Feel free to do whatever you think is right, but. Yeah, but I'm not going to give stuff away. You know what I mean, Dawn? You're still making money. I get that totally. My goodness, I got to catch up. There's a lot of chatting going on here. Floyd, hold on. One guy right along the road, opposite side from the barn with the wine bar, about a third of the way down from there, with amazing ephemeral labels, die cuts. Wow, really? Animals, absolutely, Eric. Also think length of time listed. Oh, for sure, absolutely. That goes without saying. Mostly right for people, not resellers. Okay, cool. But if you want to find people, lots of selling. Yep. Sturbridge and hit some shops. Cool. Yeah. The ancient art of haggling. Yeah, very good to see Dawn in here tonight. Dawn. Always good to see Dawn. Very good to see Annie in here tonight. Treasure Mage. What paper cutter do I use? Do I have a link to that too? I use Dawn. Tell Treasure Maze what kind of paper cutter I use because she wound up buying it. The name escapes me right now, but I'm sure Treasure Maze. I'm not trying to blow you off. I just don't know the name of it right now. I could go grab it if you'd like, but I know that a couple people said they bought it from me, the same one, because this was another odyssey for me. Most of the paper cutters were limited in size. I think the biggest I always saw was 12 inches. And the Life magazines being 14, 15, and some other Colliers and stuff being 17, nothing would fit. And I finally found this thing, which I'm sure Dawn will put a link to, but it's fantastic. Weather in Maine will be around mid-70s for a bit, and then like second week of October, drop 20 degrees. In October, you think that quickly, huh? Well, some are. Buy postcards like here, I will average them out $3, some dollars, some 25% average out. Cool. Yeah, dogs is 17 minutes, but it's like the whole first side, right? I love Pigs. Pigs is my song. Dogs is awesome, but Pigs is just like evil. It's a sinister sounding record. Resellers do not equal people. First of all, where did you get that groovy not equal thing? That's Annie's good at that kind of stuff. Some secret key combination allowing her to put the not equals, the rarely, scarcely used not equal sign. It's another video, Annie. How to use the not equal to sign. Average price to pay for the postcard this year would estimate around 5 cents. Beautiful. So you're always going to make money if you spend 5 cents on things. You would buy postcards? Not huge lots. Very handpicked. Nice. Well, that's all I can ask, right? At the end of the day, we're all here to make some money. It was of Tiger Ridge at Fort Polk Infantry Training for Vietnam. Very cool. Places like that are only legendary if you know the right places, right prices to purchase things for to make a profit. Yes, that's true. Otherwise, it'll become legendary for other reasons, like, where you go to lose your shirt. So I would agree with that. I'm cherry picking postcards. I usually won't pay more than $1 each. The larger the bulk buy, the cheaper I go. Absolutely, of course. How much if I buy them all, right? Yep. And what did Mark say? What was it? 700, 800, something like that? He said basically constitutes a box. I don't know why I'm fascinated about that. I just want to know the jargon, that people use in all walks of life. There's always jargon. And I want to be able to be one of the cool kids to say, hey, how much for a box of cards? Also do other things, and just today found an action figure. Not a doll, an action figure. Beautiful, beautiful. I found most of my questions on reselling of the type where folks can't answer or say it all depends on your business model. I know, because it really, I mean, truly it does, but hopefully what a few people have answered helps you along those lines, but it really is ultimately up to what you are willing to take on something, right? You always hear people talking about, low ball offer, low ball. What I consider a low ball offer might differ from what Mark considers, or Dawn considers, or Kelly, or as I read everybody's name here, or Annie. You know what I mean? Seriously, it depends on what you're willing to take. And the time component is huge. It's very true. If something's been up for a really long time and you just want to get rid of something, you're sick of seeing it in your store, and you're still going to make a couple of bucks on it, maybe you do get rid of it for nothing, quote unquote. But it truly is your call. There you go. Call Professional Rotary Paper Trimmer, 18-inch. Yep, there you go. Thank you, Dawn. I knew she would have that. Call Cutter. Yep. Yeah, didn't he play first base for the Orioles or something? Call Cutter. Now batting, Call Cutter. Your rule of thumb is if you can't sell 10 times what you paid, you're not interested. That's a good rule. Again, you're going to make a lot of money if you're always 10xing your investments. Mark started with action figures. Yeah, I think you talked about that on my show, didn't you, Mark? I think we talked about that on the chat show. And again, everybody, please visit my friends over on Ephemerama, coming up on a Saturday night at 6 o'clock on Whatnot. It's a little bit of a smaller version of what we just went through a couple weeks ago with Paperpalooza. Throw that banner up one more time for everybody who might have come in late. But there's your roster. You got Ben, New to You Provisions. You got Melissa, I think Millicent's Memories, Franklin Hill Ventures. New entry here, Pecos Valley Collect, and Popeye's Postcards, of course. That should be a lot of fun. The tea is done. Fresh peppermint tea. Delicious. Nutritious. That should be a lot of fun, though. Hope you guys check those out. Maybe get some good deals. Yeah, the call cards are awesome. Yeah, they work well, too. The call card is awesome, though. And a little hack for everybody. I might have mentioned this previously. If you start seeing some dulling taking place, you can buy a replacement blade, of course. I think it comes with a couple of them. A little hack for everybody. Get a basic piece of tin foil. And you put the tin foil in as you would put in a print ad or any other piece of paper. And then you slide your razor up and down 2 or 3 times. It basically sharpens your blade back to new. That's a fact, Jack. I've done that many a time. So I've used the same blade for over a year. I haven't had to replace it because that's what I do. And you can tell right away if it's getting a little dull because when you go through one pass, it's not cutting it completely, which can be very frustrating. So if you start seeing that, just throw a piece of tin foil 2 or 3 times, bam, like new. For virtually nothing. It depends on how many different things you're cutting up. For me, that wouldn't be very cost effective or time effective, I should say. But to each their own. Again, see, it's what you do. Wow, really? See, that's awesome. 300 sheets. Holy cow. Probably depends on what box you're looking at. A shoebox, a postcard box, a plastic. Yeah, I know. Exactly. But I just thought maybe there was like a common theme when people talk about a box of postcards. That's all. I could be completely wrong. Too nervous about cutting one sheet at a time of super thin magazine paper. That it would just like rip it to shreds, Dawn? The knife and yardstick. Yeah, that works. Whatever works. I know, Eric, but Annie's fancy schmancy. She just does this automatically. It just comes to her. Certainly less dangerous, yes. Once that guillotine comes down, you better hope that little fingertip isn't anywhere near. Hold on, everybody. I just had a offer pop in through eBay. So we could have a real live. We've had this happen a couple times, actually. We could have a real live example of to accept or not to accept or to counter. What would you do? If it's for a postcard, I'll be really excited. For some reason, my eBay screen is just sitting here spinning. No, it is not for a postcard. It is not for any ephemera whatsoever, actually. It's for a set of Mickey Mouse dessert plates. New in the box. Have it up for 50. Offer came through for 35. $35 out of 50 is what, 70%? It's only been, well, this is one of the ones that, remember I told you in the beginning of the show, everybody, I did the sell similar. This is a brand new one that I just sold similar about an hour before my show started tonight. So 35 out of 50. We'll let them sweat this out. I don't know. I might go back to that one. We'll see. We will see. Who is Franklin Hill in Human Names? Franklin Hill Ventures? Stuart. He was on a show, Annie, about I don't know, when was this? A couple weeks ago? I had a big shindig with, what do we have, like 8 or 9 people on. It was really cool. Check it out if you haven't checked it out. And Stuart was on. He was one of the people participating in Paperpalooza. It was a great time. Popeye was on. Ben was on. A host of others. You have a guillotine and can trim a hair off on. That's pretty cool. Yeah. The guillotine is definitely effective. Oh, never know when to switch. Oh, my God. A lot of fear out there in the ephemera community. You can get perforating blades for those calls. Oh, yeah, they come with, there was a few options, actually. Yeah, Stuart White, I believe, if that's okay to say. You cut many things with an X-Acto. You probably have many decades of experience using an X-Acto, Annie. You're traveling and staying in hotels, you could tell about one thin sheet of paper. Yeah. You should measure out how many postcards are in an inch and then use that for the basis of calculations. Nice. That's a good idea. Beautiful. Excellent idea. And just, yeah, get a good estimate, an educated guess. Stuart bought some stuff for me the other night and couldn't remember. Very nice guy, and he has a good YouTube channel as well. He was a delight to have on as a guest, and he did really well. Everybody did great at Paper. Let's bring that up one more time. Paperpalooza was a major success. It was a lot of fun. Everybody did very well. We had a great turnout of people watching every single show. And now we have this new mini version of it called Ephemerama, which is going to be held on the second Saturday of every month. I would have definitely been part of this one. But fortunately/unfortunately, I'm playing a Beatles show in Washington on the 10th, so I cannot attend this one Saturday. But whatever the second Saturday is in October, I'll be there with bells on. I think it's the 8th, it looks like. I have a gig on the 1st, but I don't have a gig on the 8th. So maybe the 8th, if we do that, I will participate in that one. Canadians use a sea skin for what? $40, says Jeff. $40 is what? Oh, for you want me to go back, right? Yeah, I know. I'm not going to accept it right away, but it's cool to see, another one of those real life examples of ending and selling similar and suddenly I get activity. That's pretty cool. Christmas related item, which obviously is going to stop being on people's mind now that we are into September. Certainly Halloween. I think we're in Halloween. October 1st, I would assume, is when it becomes like, mania. But even in September, there's a lot of fanatical Halloween people. All year round, there's fanatical Halloween people. But I think it becomes a frenzy October 1st. And by September, people are getting, like me even, you're firing up your Jack candle. You're going out and getting your stupid pumpkin latte. I'm right there with everybody. We have a little flag in the front of the house. You guys have like those flags that you can put out for different seasons. I put out the fall flag today. I don't know why. We have 2 weeks left of summer, but I did it. I did it. It was raining. It was gray. It was 70 instead of 90. I put out the fall flag. Kind of trying to will it to get here quicker, I think. Just run of the mill Maple Leafs. You switch X-Acto blades with regular cement. And you still have all your fingers, Annie? Or most of them anyway? The tips half there? Paper Palooza was fire? Yeah, it was great. There you go. But keep you away from spray glue or you will have a fit of rage. Uh-oh, we have spray glue issues. Lori chiming in with an agreement. Everybody hates spray glue? I know, Dawn, but you'll make your money back in spades. Spray glue equals... What is so bad about spray glue? Yep, the stupid pumpkin lattes, they're out. You're on a spending diet. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, start selling to everybody, including myself. I picked up a bunch of postcards from John, from a couple other dealers, and I did list about 100 of them, which is good work for me. But I still have like probably another 50 that's sitting here. I need to list them as well. Don't just buy and add to your death pile. Don't do it. The good thing about Whatnot is you get ridiculously good deals on, especially from at least certainly the people in this group. And most of the people I've had experience with on Whatnot have been really cool with the stuff I've sold. So, take advantage of that. We're all selling goods. We're not selling junk. We're sort of selling to each other as resellers, making a couple of bucks, passing it on to you guys. Lori's purchased some lots from me as well. And go out and start listing that stuff. Make some money. Kelly's always listening, though, Dawn. Don't ever presume. He's not quiet because he's gone. He's there. He's monitoring things at all times. And then he'll come out with some cool stat out of nowhere. He's very good with numbers, is Kelly. A statistical driven individual. Where numbers don't lie and all that good stuff. Which is debatable, but not in stuff like this. Pretty much numbers don't lie. Oh, Popeye's on Whatnot. Yeah, Kelly is as I'm sure a lot of us in postcards, big fan of John and his stuff. So, see, he's there. All you got to do is summon the name Kelly, and he will pop on. Listing and researching cards. Cool. Oh, here we go. Here's why we hate spray glue. Smells bad. That's strike one. Makes you high in a bad way. That's strike two. Makes things stick where you don't want them and creates hideous glue blobs that your boss yells at you for when you're presenting to the client. All right, so there you go in a nutshell. Here's 5 reasons to hate spray glue. I always learn 5 to 10 things every time I go on to one of these chats/listing shows. It's astounding. You buy because you always think maybe you'll have the opportunity in the future. It's just like, yeah, I know. So I'm saying, I wouldn't, far be it for me to say don't buy from me, but in the interest of all of our best interests, in all of our best interests, let's start listing some stuff you did buy from any one of us. You take my name, it makes it orange. Oh, that's right. If you put at Kelly, right? I don't think you have to put at Kelly. Cameron, Kelly, you'd be proud of me. You beat personal best and listed 6 podium. Wow, that is awesome. 60 postcards. Cameron, do you, I forgot, you could stop me if I've asked this already. Do you go in and research every single card before you list it like I do? Because I need to, because I'm too new at it. And I think Kelly said he still pretty much does 99% of them too. He researches, when I say research, like looks for comps, stuff like that. Or do you just kind of list them and make up the prices? Oh, very cool. That'll be cool. Yeah, check out SM Postcards on YouTube. Have a lot of footage shot and ready to roll. Problem is when you have all that footage, it's going to take you like 2 weeks to edit it all, but it'll be worth it. That is awesome. Yeah, I'm obviously in postcard infancy here, so I absolutely look up every single one, as tedious as that might be. But it's true, though, and again, I have a very, very small sampling. But I can see that there are like certain trends already and consistencies across certain types of cards. But then every time I say that, there's something that I've never seen. So there's just so many postcards. You're bound to come across new things almost every time you buy, a nice little, you get a nice little pack. He's doing mixed lots. The new Dave purchase will be on Saturday. Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, that's the big one. Ephemerama. There you go. I figured it. No, seriously, Mark. Like you probably can pretty much guesstimate values, like I do with print ads or anything that I do with frequency. You do kind of get a knack for that, for identifying things. And of course, there's the off chance you find something really cool that you've never seen before, and you'll take a few minutes. But if you do postcards and you're really good at it, I would imagine you could eyeball a good portion of them and kind of have a price in mind before you even list it. Excellent, Cameron. Congratulations. Photograph them tonight. Cool. Good luck. Get them up. Search and sell similar. Yeah, exactly. And really the only thing, I know in Kelly's case, he keeps talking about the fact that he doesn't fill in any of those specifics, which I think is amazing. Because at that point, I guess you just switch from topographical, non-topographical. Like there really isn't much else to switch. You're comping postcards right now? Cool, Purple Circle. Everybody's into this postcard thing, even me too. Worth point, yeah? For something really rare. Do you have a subscription, Cameron? You get used to knowing what price ranges. That's what I figured if you've done it for a while. Like 23 years? Okay, so it only takes 23 years. So I'll be dead and buried by the time I get the knack. Great. Your phone is going off constantly. Your grandmother's having a knee replacement. Oh, hospital canceled, 2 surgeries. Oh, good luck to her. I hope she does well. Hope they get it done. My mother-in-law had a knee replacement. My father-in-law had both knees replaced about 2-3 years ago. They only do one at a time, obviously, so he could walk. But he, it wasn't easy, but he recovered pretty quickly. My mother-in-law, unfortunately, did not. She's been like 2 years removed, I think, 2 or 3 years. And she's still like not 100%. So she's not going to get the other knee done. Yeah, he did. He picked up, he mentioned earlier in the show, Dawn, that he picked up a bunch of cards. Kinds of cards. That's a good way to put it. Right. Like, yeah, like the real photo. And like I said, I'm at the stage where I'm still just trying to get the terminology correct. Linens and RPPC and all that kind of stuff. I'm at that infancy stage. But I sold 5 or 6 or 7, whatever it is, in the last few days. So I'm kind of fine. Like about 10% of what I listed I've sold. So I'm kind of fired up about that. Niche divided backs to chromes. Yep. Rural Squirrel, Kristen, how are you? Kristen, tell the folks what you have going on. I saw Kristen participating in a new venture with, let me see if I could pull this up. With Angie, for sure, I know is involved, who is a great gal. I was on with Angie on her show with Bobby a few months ago, which was really helpful because that was like the first show I ever went on, somebody else's show. And they were very, very kind to me. And I was on for a couple hours. We had a great time. She was a really nice girl. And I gained like 50 or 100 subscribers from that one show. So definitely a big fan. And she's a sweetheart. So Angie, and who else was in your project? Anyway, tell everybody about it. I don't want to steal your thunder. Rural Squirrel has a new venture I'd like her to talk about. Rural Squirrel is going to be on this show, as a matter of fact, live with me. Hopefully also with Travis. We're just waiting for him to get back home safe and sound, and then we'll schedule something. But we're supposed to have her on about a week or so ago. Had to reschedule, but I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, I'm excited to see this new venture. It starts on Friday, right, Kristen? 2 fake knees. Oh man. Pain management. There you go. Vis-a-vis morphine, because it's very painful. Sort them into top. Yeah, exactly. So you don't have to keep flipping it, right? That makes sense. She has had both done at this point. If she can't get them done ASAP, she won't make it 6 months. Oh my God. Oh, that's awful. Well, all the best to her. I hope she does well. Yes, you have worth one. Cool. You don't even need me to look up something. Thank you so much, Cameron. I greatly appreciate that. Very cool. Yes, my buddy Travis has one. It was a feature of the show for a while. Was looking up people's whatnot requests. So hopefully he'll be back shortly and we can continue that. Actually, I'm gonna take that back. We got Travis told me that somebody from Whatnot supposedly posted something in a Facebook group that not Whatnot, excuse me, WorthPoint, not Whatnot. WorthPoint. An individual from WorthPoint made a post in one of those Facebook reselling groups. I don't even know what group it was. Basically saying, please don't use our services on channels. They didn't specify me or anybody. They didn't point anybody out. They just said across the generic statement, please don't use our services or something like that publicly. So, oh, there you go. Congratulations, Dawn. Yeah, it's fall is here, even though it's not. But fall is here. It's time to start kicking some butt. That's awesome. Cha-ching, exactly. Cheers, says Kim. Later all, you had a bad fall. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a brutal combination. I'm sorry, Jeff. I hope you feel better soon. Thanks for popping in. Let us know how you're doing. I want to make sure you're okay. Yeah, that is brutal. Oh, awesome. Be well, Jeff. So yeah, guys, that's where is Kristen? I'm waiting for her to fill us all in. She's probably getting some stuff together. They're doing there's a collaboration with Angie, who goes by Angie Resells on YouTube. Kristen, of course, Royal Squirrel, and I cannot remember the last lady's name. I apologize. But it's the three of them are doing like a lunch YouTube chat thing. Please help me, Royal Squirrel. Chime in. Give me some details. Promote your stuff. Then you can promote it when you come on my show too. And then you can have me as a guest on your show. How do you like that? There you go. One hand washes the other. I just followed her on Instagram, the new venture. I hope that she's trying to get something together. If not, I'll find it. I just started following him. Wouldn't it be nice if when you follow somebody on Instagram, if the most recent edition would pop right up? Oh, you're in Idaho. That's hysterical, by the way. What is the thing called? Just type it and I'll pull it up. She's a Royal Squirrel. She's always traveling, always on the road. If you give me the name, then I'll just go in for you, Kristen, and put a link in here to the new venture. It's a cool idea. It's 3 resellers all getting together. I believe it's at noon, on Fridays, I think is what I read. But again, I want Kristen to confirm all that. And it's kind of like a round table, I guess, just 3 people hanging out, talking reselling. That's the vibe I got when I read their little promo thing. But again, if Kristen gets her service back in Idaho, I'd like her to speak to this instead of me destroying the whole thing. She's going to say, no, it's 8 people. It's not 3. No, it's 3 people. Hold on. Kelly's giving us numbers. I told you, Kelly knows numbers. You listed 10 tonight, but you did have a solid weekend. 450 over 3. Beautiful. Just made me laugh there, Mark. 3 results together, they call that a cartel. Yeah. Come on. I can't, for the life of me, I can't find the, I just followed them like a couple of hours ago, but it doesn't, when you check the people you're following, it's like, if you don't know the name, it really doesn't do you any good. I thought it would be like in a hierarchy of the most recently added, but absolutely not. Alphabetized? Absolutely not. I will find it. Let me know if anybody stopped me. If you see Royal Squirrel do a nice big post, let me know. Because I'm just scrolling through my Instagram trying to find what this thing is called that I've been talking about or rambling about aimlessly for a few minutes. And I don't know the name of it. Oh, she has it. I'm sorry. She did post it. Right before Jeff's fall kind of took my thunder. Hold on. Let's go back to Jeff's fall. Let's not have him fall again. Where does Jeff say he had a bad fall? podcast. There we go. Let's Do Lunch podcast. There you go. Now I'll find it. Let's Do Lunch Seller podcast. There you go. Here's a link to the channel. Looks like they just started the channel recently. So everybody go check out this channel. And tell me Dawn just already posted it. Unbelievable. Well, thank you again, as always, Dawn. Thank you. But if you don't see Dawn's, you could go to mine and go check out the ladies at this. I think it's a cool idea. Fridays at noon Central. So it's 1 our time. Yeah, I watched the intro.
Hey, I'm Angie.
Rachel, that's the other girl. Rachel Strickland. So it's Rachel's Angie, and it's, of course, Kristen. They have a nice little 15, 16-second video teaser. And I was there 4 days ago saying, so cool. When's your first show? Every Friday at noon, they came back with. So go check that out. Friday at noon is your first show, right? Kristen? You're very welcome. Thank you. 20,000 sales. I found out the right way to do. Yeah, these things take time, Stephen. These things, you can't rush these things. You're very welcome. I hope you kick butt. I like the idea very much. Collaborative chit chat. Cool thing. And I don't know Rachel. Well, I don't know anybody personally. I don't know Rachel well on YouTube. I've seen some of her videos. She's very effervescent, very I think she comes from a sales background, from a real estate background, I remember in the video. So she's got that knack, which is a great skill to have in reselling. Very bubbly, very knowledgeable. But I haven't spoken with her like I have with Angie and with Kristen. But I'm sure if she's part of this group, it's got to be a great group. So everybody go check that out. Friday at noon or 1 o'clock Eastern. And this is let's see if I could beat Dawn to this. I doubt it. Yeah, I do too, Annie. I've seen a few of them. I just haven't chatted with her offline like I have with some of the other people. But I'm sure she's great. And that's the Instagram, everybody, if you want to check it out. They have the Let's Do Lunch Reseller podcast Instagram page as well. This week, Friday. I'm psyched. I will be there with bells on. And then shortly after their show at 6 p.m. Eastern, we'll be doing our live listing show here on the Jiminy Flipper channel. Yeah, Rachel, in fact, it's funny. One of the first videos I saw of her, I actually saved. Sometimes you ever been so inspired by somebody's work, you save them? That's rare for me, but I did. I saved her video. It was just literally an inspirational thing. You can do it kind of thing. And I was really moved by it. And this was probably a year ago. And I hadn't heard of her prior to that. I think she was a guest on with Angie and Bobby. So I saw her there, and I, like most people do, I subscribed, and I saw that really inspirational video. I saved it, and I refer to it once in a while if I get down. She's very good at that. She's really, really inspirational, and she's great at that. So I'm sure it'll be a phenomenal podcast. I wish her all the luck in the world with that. All three of you. But she's not a squirrel, no. She just plays one on TV. You don't add custom description, but you do fill out specifics. We're talking about postcards. Oh wait, you can't wait to tell everyone who your first guest is. Who's your first guest? Oh, you're gonna have guests each week? I thought it was just the three of you. That's kind of cool. You personally sell more with both. Don't know if it works for everyone, but it does for me. I must have missed something. You're talking about the postcard guys, the postcard specifics. Is that what you're talking about, Don? I'm all fired up over the Let's Do Lunch podcast here, and I missed some of the chat, apparently. Okay, you're talking postcards. Cool. That's the topic du jour. Everybody's into postcards, including me suddenly. So why not, right? I can't just idly stand by and watch all these people kick butt with postcards and not dive in a little bit. At least put my toe in. Maybe not dive in. Toe in the water, though. Toe is definitely in the water. I haven't committed to the full dive yet, but I'm getting onto the diving board. I'll tell you that. They're cool, and I've mentioned this on many shows. I think there is a little bit of a parallel between the ads and the postcards. They both have the historical element. They both have kind of cool photographs. A lot of them require some research. I like them. I love the form factor. Obviously, they're so small. Everybody talks about that, how they're so simple to store and all that good stuff. As are the ads. You filled in less and less, which means that you list a lot more, so you don't know how it affects your sales. Yeah, So, Andy, you definitely have that dreaded message on your eBay splash screen that says you have 5,000 specifics to update and ignore them. You list them with CSVs. Yeah, and you have a video on that too, don't you, Annie? About how to list on eBay with spreadsheet uploads. You can't say the way you do it works for everyone. Yes, keep it roughly the same. Item description for every listing. Each category has its own page, but that's it. Ah. Very, very cool. Specifics and custom description. Okay. See, I totally agree. I agree with that. And that's almost with anything. Never mind postcards. A lot of people just see the image and the title, if that. You're right. And it's been proven over and over that most people don't read anything because you could put in bold and different colors and write it 17 times that something, does not include batteries or whatever. Then you'll get the question, does this have batteries? So I think there's a lot of truth in that statement, Kelly, that people don't read. I just worry about eBay. My concern is that eBay might, whatever term you want to use, hide your listings, mask your listings, bury your listings if you don't fill out those things. I don't know if it's true or not. Because it begs the question, why have the specifics in there as recommended if either just make them all required or don't even bother me with recommended, right? But obviously that's not what they want to do. She does, absolutely. Go check out Annie on the YouTubes. It is not Annie-log, though, right? Unless you changed it. It was eBay School, last I saw. Annie. Doing right? Can we fire up Annie's YouTube page if we haven't done so already? You list everything in detail, and after over 20,000 sales, never had a negative. Yeah, that's beautiful. Call that truth in advertising, right, Stephen? Yep, eBay School. There you go. Thank you, Dawn. Dawn is so fast, Annie, in case you didn't notice. Let's go check out Annie. If you have been foolish enough not to watch Annie all these years, now's your time to make amends. Go check her out on YouTube. Branding, Annie. We were talking about this a while ago. I wound up not changing, but even my eBay page, which I thought was this bit, my eBay store, excuse me, I changed it to Jiminy Flip It, which I never talk about my eBay store, but it was a totally different name. It still is a different name. It's strange. Like if you get all the correspondence still has the old name, but the store page has Jiminy Flip It now. So just for consistency and branding, I've made everything Jiminy Flip It now. And I just came up with that in January of this year. So 8 months. But I do think there's a lot to be said with that. Like I think Annie-log is really creative. And it's less limiting than eBay School, right? Now you can do videos on anything. I mean, you could anyway, but Annie-log is kind of cool. I even think I saw a video of yours a while ago, Annie, that spoke all about that. Like how you were looking to rebrand. You had something prior to the eBay School thing. But because a lot of us are on multiple platforms now with the social media stuff, the whatnots, the Instagrams, the yada, 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 the YouTubes, obviously the eBays, the Etsy's, it might be a good idea to have, consistency amongst your brand. You should. I'm surprised they don't have that as a require or recommended specific already, Mark. That's the kind of nonsense that drives me nuts. What did I list today that had something really, really foolish? I should have taken a screenshot of it, like just to laugh at. Of course, I just put NA. Thank goodness it allowed you to add your own custom field. But when I tell you this thing had nothing to do with what I was listing, I can't remember what the heck it was. It's like a Christmas thing. I have a whole bin full of like not just ornaments, but like just Christmas stuff in general. And I was starting to list some of it because of September, only a few months away. And I can't remember what the specific thing. It was like a lighting fixture or something like that. And one of the specifics was just completely asinine. And I should have done a screenshot, but I didn't. You think people were out to get you because you had a perfect rating? That's messed up. No, I knew you'd be right there. The link is for part 1 of the CSV videos. Cool. Yeah, it's very comprehensive. I will say, I think that's a fair description. Would you not agree, Annie? Mostly always sold part-time, and that's what the jobs was. That's cool. When it was analog, exactly. Yeah, it's a cool name. Right, exactly, because it limits you a little bit. Oh yeah, and I always just type for me with the my ads. I do print. I just type the word print ad in there, but it's not a drop down option. That's quite correct. Oh, really? Is it? How dare they? Who else would ever come up with Anilog? The gall. Oh, the sticker sign thing is summed up. Yep, I know. Especially you would think about, with people that do stuff like us with frequency, and you see it on every one of my shows, my listing shows. I'm doing print ads, right? You would think after you typed it a certain amount of times, it would almost default to it, or at least give you that option, but no, it doesn't. Slow and steady, complicated but not hard. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, just a lot of detail. Yep. But it's a comprehensive series for sure. The audacity. You need slow. Well, another beauty of YouTube, in case you didn't know, folks, you can pause the videos, You can even rewind them. Postcard car, postcard tree, postcard boat, best titles ever. There you go. Now, Mark, this gets into it again. You're a pro at this. Kelly, certainly a pro at this. John, obviously a pro at this. Do you use the word postcard in your title, or is it redundant? That's my question. If you're in the postcard category, is it redundant to write postcard in your title? I open the floor for discussion, for debate. What do you guys think? To postcard or not to postcard? That is the question. I don't have an opinion either way yet because I am an infant in this game, but I do think it's because me doing print ads, I do write print ad. I write vintage print ad in my listings. Whenever I say that, my wife says, "I have a nice what?" So I'm going to throw that right back at you, Dawn. Postcard is first word in title. A poll did over 90% use postcard in the title, which now makes it mandatory just because 90% of people. Why don't you buck the trend, Mark? No, I'm only kidding. Everybody puts postcard, huh? Everybody always uses it. But do you see my point? Again, I'm contradicting myself because I always write vintage print ad. The thing is, my category is not called print ads. It's called advertising. But postcards, you're literally in a postcard category. So I don't know if, like I said, I think there's an element of redundancy by using the word postcard in a postcard listing. But I don't know. Like you could use that space for better keywords. That's all. Somewhere in the middle, just like print ad. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Dawn. But again, my category is not called print ads. It's called advertising. Advertising print or whatever it's called. Angie, how you doing? Good to see you. We were just talking about you. What do you know? Check out Angie on YouTube, Angie Resells, and also this coming Friday, noon Central, so 1 Eastern, 11 Mountain, and watch me, 10 Pacific. The new group known as, help me, we just said it. What is it called? Let's Do Lunch podcast coming at you Friday at noon Central with Rachel, with Kristen Royal Squirrel, and of course with Angie. And I did not know you guys are going to have guests. That's kind of cool. I thought it was just like a little chat, like a 3-person chat, which I think is a really cool idea. And I know I will be there with bells on. I recommend everybody that's watching me also checks that out. It sounds like a lot of fun. And everybody brings a lot of, I know Angie specifically brings a lot of experience to the table here. And Angie, as she's declared herself, will sell anything. Nothing's taboo, well, within reason. But in other words, she'll sell anything. She'll sell postcards. She'll sell a vase. She'll sell a pair of shoes. She'll sell candy. She'll sell anything. If she's going to make money, she'll sell it. Doyle Warehouse. How you doing? Yes, just like clothes, place, shoes, top, pants. Hi, Doyle. What? Are you saying about the postcard thing? I only use postcard for fits. I don't know if that's good. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know either. Like I said, I think it's redundant to an extent. And if I could put more powerful keywords into my listing, I'd rather do that. But then again, maybe, Mark said he did some analysis and 90% of the postcard listings have the word postcard. I don't know if that means you have to. Kim says postcard is no more redundant than listing multitudes of any other item. They is what they is. I know. I definitely get that. You tile up your foil. That's not fun. It was probably all bad. No, not at all. Let's do lunch podcast. Yep. Occasionally guess. Okay, cool. Oh, thank you. I think it's wonderful. Initials are like, or initials are RAK, like random acts of. Oh, okay. Everyone and anything. There you go. I was going to everyone. That's frowned upon, Angie. I wouldn't do that. Say you make one. See what happens, Angie? You make one little typo, and then they make fun of you for the next year. No. Use postcard in the title as someone may see it without even looking in the postcard. That's a good point. If they're using the Google to search, like a lot of people do, right? And then they're just taken to eBay as an option when they search 1941 real photo postcard. Yeah, I get that. That's a very good point, actually. I think I'm so used to everybody living in the eBay world, but it's true. That's not how it is anymore. A lot of people just search generically on Google or whatever browser they use. And if you don't have that word postcard, that could definitely hinder your efforts there. So I get that. I think that's a great point, Stephen. Kelly, sorry late on the chat. I include postcard for 1, make sure buyers know what they are getting, and 2, it helps filter in bookkeeping. Well, certainly for bookkeeping. But isn't that a great point by Stephen? If people are searching for postcards on a Google search or any other browser, if you don't have the word postcard, it might not give you back a good result. So I think that's reason enough. Well, good night. All I'm time lagged out east. time lagged. That's right. Yeah, I forgot. You skipped ahead. Big difference, isn't it? Thanks for coming in, Mark, though. Good luck. I hope you have a great time up there. Exactly. That's what I'm saying, Annie. Very good point. Like I said, I think I definitely felt prey to this, that I was thinking solely within eBay, but while there is still obviously a good bunch of people that do search within eBay, I think the lion's share of people, I'm sure there's a stat out there, Kelly, we could find it. What percentage of people search for items on a browser generically versus going into eBay proper? Tanika, how you doing? Always late, but always welcome. I'm glad you're here. Welcome aboard. We're just chit-chatting. No real agenda. But I like that we're staying, I hate to say this because as soon as I say it, we're going to go off the rails. We've been staying on point all evening long. We've been talking reselling for the last 2 hours and 23 minutes. We haven't talked about our favorite cereal, our favorite candy bar, or what doll did you have, or does anybody remember the snowstorm of '78? We haven't gone down that road yet. We've been sticking to reselling. So much for not buying postcards. 9 lots of 50 of course, from Popeye. Yeah, but come on, that's nothing for you. All in a day's work, right? That's exactly right. Yes. They call it fashionably late, actually. She's fashionably late. But yeah, everybody, go check out the girls on Friday at 1 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock Central for that reselling chat. I think it's a great idea. I think it's going to do really well. They have a new YouTube channel, which Dawn already posted, and they have a Instagram, which I posted. So go check out Angie and Kristen and Rachel. And they'll be on Friday. I will be there. Dawn's going to say, yeah, 78, Annie. I remember that well. We had, were you in Massachusetts then too? I grew up in New York, as probably most people know. And in 78, there was a legend of February, I think it was. I think we had like 3 feet of snow. Where I grew up, I am not exaggerating. I'm pretty sure it was in February. Anybody can look it up on the Google. Let's say the storm was February 8th. I'm making up the date, 78. There was still snow on my street in April from that storm, like no exaggeration. They had mounds and mounds because the sanitation people came by with what are they called? Plows. They call them plows. And made these huge piles that were like 10 feet high of snow, and it didn't melt until April. It was months of snow. That was my biggest snowstorm in my life. And the year before that was the classic blackout, which Annie probably remembers too. 77, August, the big blackout. The whole East Coast was out, I'm pretty sure. My goodness. Baby Dawn. John is funneling. Yeah, he might be. He might be. Who knows what's going on there? You're in Massachusetts, yep. Yeah, that was Monster. Oh, wow, really? Got all these youngins on my shows. Well, we got a nice mix, I should say. We actually have a very nice mix. We have experienced people. We have quasi-experienced people. We have younger people who aspire to be both. And in cases of people like Kelly, who are young in age, but wisdom exceeds many others his age. So what's the expression? Age is just a number. I've been waiting for the day when John would allow people to buy from him, so I'm just taking full advantage. Yeah. Doesn't he put things up as a buy it now once in a while, though? I think he did that in Paperpalooza, didn't he? Yep, that was a nightmare. I remember that very, very well. We lost power for a bit, and, like, all jokes aside, there's nothing worse than dead of winter, 3 feet of snow on the ground, and no heat. That's a bad thing. People get very badly sick. You were 4? Oh, you too? Urgh. Ooh, that's a good question. Postcards of historic storms. I bet you there's a bunch. Kelly, the floor is yours. What do you have? Storm postcards. Real photo postcards, ideally. Yeah, but this was like, you get 3 feet of snow, Dawn. This was like and you got to remember the population center. You're talking millions and millions and millions and millions of people from that, Boston to DC corridor. So you and your family built an awesome snow fort. Yeah. We used to build, snow fort, like an igloo. And then we had like an igloo, quote unquote, that was like on the corner, which was just where all the snow piled up. And then we built a slide. It was really cool because the snow was so compacted. So we just went to the top and everybody kept sliding literally down the hill in the same form. And it made like a little crevice and it became like a sliding pond. And you're already invested deep in postcards. So at this point, there's no reason for me to back out. That's very true. How you doing? Mountain State Pickers. West Virginia had a few bad blizzards as well. I don't think you're alone in that sentiment. With that said, I'm all fired up for fall. Generally speaking, I don't like severe weather, be it severely hot, severely cold. Big fan of moderation. I like a little chill. I like the fall because in the evening, throw the sweater on. Or if you're Kelly, you already have one on right now in Maine, sweatshirt. That I dig. I don't mind a little snow once in a while, especially up till Christmas time. But come January 1st, I want spring. And I like spring. I played a ton of shows these last couple of months, broiling hot, literally 102 degrees when I stepped foot on stage. I don't like that. That's extremism. Not a fan of it. I like moderation. Am I alone? Don't have any real pictures of storms. Usually get 1950s in Kodak. I bet you, yeah, and slides too. There might be some slides out there of big storms. Thank you for this factoid. West Virginia has the steepest roads in the nation. Interesting. The flooding and natural disaster cause are not usually. Oh, really? There's a good piece of knowledge from Kelly. Not typically found on a real photo. Although, you know what I do see a lot? I'm just picking up little trends. I see a lot of train wrecks, Kelly. Train wrecks in some, back roads town with a couple people standing in front of it like this. Train wrecks. I see a lot of real photos of train wrecks. And I would think from putting on my print ad hat, people love train ads and collect train stuff. So I would imagine that the train postcards probably do well too. Bought a whole pile of disaster-themed postcards at an auction. Storm floods. There you go. Cool. How about train crashes, Annie? Or train, whatever you want to call them. Volcanoes. Your back roads are complete nonsense if you get more than 6 inches. Yeah, I'm sure. Me too, Annie. I've been sweating for 3 months. Yep, exactly. Yeah, as I was saying, you see a lot of those with, like I said, usually 3 guys or like bystanders hanging out. All your storm postcards sell really fast, so I can't keep it. That's good to know. Right. Does anybody out there belong to, on Facebook, there's a really cool group, which I don't mind telling everyone about if you don't know about it. I'm a member of it. It's called Photo. It's a very, very nice group. Photo Postcards RPPC Unidentified Images is the name of this group. And they are so cool. They you could put up an image of anything you find, and 9 times out of 10, somebody will know where it is. I mean, it could be really, really tough. A picture of a person on a tractor trailer with hay in the background. And you post a picture and you post the front and the back, and somebody will come back and say, oh, that looks like, Bob Main Street in Omaha, Nebraska. Really? And then they zoom in. Oh, if you look at the sign up there, it says Smith Brothers. And then somebody will come back with some kind of genealogy thing. Oh, Robert Smith from Omaha, Nebraska lived from 1863 to 1927. Unbelievable. And then when it's solved, the item is marked as solved. So it's a phenomenal resource. Again, on the Facebook, it's called Photo Postcards RPPC Unidentified Images. It is a private group. So if you're into that stuff, I don't know if Kelly might find, so he probably belongs to it. But if he doesn't, it's really cool. It's a great place to get your stuff identified. A bunch of absolute ringers in that place. It's unbelievable. In fact, I just listed a postcard of what I thought was a doughboy. We talked about this in World War I era. Posted the picture, and somebody immediately identified it and then sent me a link to a great resource about Army uniforms, like the history of the U.S. Army uniforming system, 200-page PDF thing for free. And they correctly identified, nope, this is pre-World War I. It dates between 1907 and 1910 because the hat dates from 1907. It was just incredible. So anyway, go check out that group. It's phenomenal. Really friendly people, no idiots. Post a picture. Just the etiquette is, you post a picture, always put the front and the back, because obviously the back of many of the cards are telling if it doesn't have the divider in the middle and all that stuff. And just be friendly and say, hi, I came across this card. Any ideas? And you'll get replies almost instantly. One last time, it is called. And hopefully they'll get a bunch of new people. I don't know if you get money for having these groups. I don't care about the money. I care about the content. Photo Postcards, all spelled out, RPPC, Unidentified Images. Really cool group. I would post the link, but I don't think you could post the link unless you're part of, I don't think you'd be able to open it, unless you were part of it. But go check that out at your leisure. It's a really cool resource. Again, this postcard of this guy that I thought was World War I turns out to be 1907. immediately. Not only that, I had the name of the jacket, like the guy's wearing a summer style blah 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 jacket. Threw that right in my listing. You know what I mean? Keywords. I am also a January baby, Mountain State. Congratulations. So is one of my daughters. So is my sister. So is one of my nephews. Stereo Views. Barry, how you doing, Calamity? What's going on? Omnipresent Dawn just sold some Stereo Views, didn't you? Some with train wrecks. Yeah, those are pretty cool. How you doing, Neil? Neil's Calamity. I got to get the name straight with some people. Don't undervalue train wreck. Yep, that's what I was saying, Kelly. I saw a bunch of them. In fact, you'll see them often in the group I just described. And like I said, you'll just see an image of like a black, steam engine falling off, whatever. And it looks like it could be anywhere on the planet. There's not a lot to go by. But if you post that, sure enough, somebody's going to come back with. And it's so cool. Again, just from a historical perspective, you learn so much about these events. So these photos, it's incredible. They'll give you, like I said, the genealogy. You'll see who the person is. You'll see news clippings. And they usually post those kind of things to back up the statements, which is very, very cool. No, it was all over the place, Annie. I did a lot in Jersey, like the beach towns, but we played New York. We played in Massachusetts. We played in Virginia. Played in Georgia. I'm playing in Washington on Saturday. All over. Mostly East Coast, though, this summer. But it's been hot everywhere we played. Every outdoor show, I should say. You've sold many flood postcards. Cool. So is that a bit of a bolo for Mr. Holton? There is the group. Cool. Thank you, Dawn. Yeah, check that out, guys. It's really cool. 1913 Dayton flood. Sure. Yep, it is cool. Check it out, guys. People in that group have crazy good vision. Exactly. They identify stuff. It's like eagle eyes. I mean, anybody could blow up an image, but, they also change. Like they'll go into a photo editor and they'll increase they'll increase certain elements of the photo so you can kind of make things that are legible initially legible. Tremendous. And like I said, really nice people, like-minded individuals, as they say, all postcard fanatics. No problem, Kelly. So there you go. I'm glad I helped you with that one. Yeah, Annie, join it. Thank you, Dawn. You see, when you're talking, you sometimes lose track of the onslaught of comments. That's all. You have 4 or 5 of those sites somewhere. Cool. If you want Trains Buried in Snow, read Dr. Zhivago. That's the plot of the book, yes. And the movie. Yep, good stuff. Check that out, guys. Hope you enjoy it, postcard people. Even if you're not a postcard person, it's just cool. Think of it as just cool photos. It's 2 stereo view. Yeah, that's what you were telling me, right? That's great work. $85. We played in Holyoke in June, I think it was. Oh, yeah, of course, right. That's like the Niagara Falls that we always hear jokes about, right? It's just such a common thing that there's millions of. And I think to a novice like myself, I would see this and say, oh, my God, I got struck gold. I got the legendary. No. So does everybody and their mother. Dawn throwing some what is it called? Mandarin at us, dazzling us all with her multilingual abilities. Yeah, it's like Western Massachusetts. It's right over, I was going to say Canada, right over Connecticut, like right across the border. It's not that far. It was like a big, a lot of the places that in the summertime are similar. They have like outdoor, like town days, like Holyoke Day or whatever. And usually they'll have like food trucks and sometimes they'll have amusement park rides. It's like a celebration of the day, summertime thing. We play those kind of things all the time. And it usually finishes off with a concert, us. And sometimes there's fireworks after and all. It's really cool. That's a common summer type gig. Now, don't admit that. You sounded like you were very knowledgeable there. Very cool group, though, for anybody who, like I said, even if you're not necessarily into postcards or sell them, it's just very, very interesting stuff that surfaces from something, fairly benign. You just see this picture and you're like, oh, what could this be? And you get all this information. And their success rate is unbelievable. Like people, the lady that came back to me with my 1907 guy was within like 10 minutes of me posting the picture. I couldn't believe it. Steven, a lot of what people say are real photos or not, but I stay away from the expensive cars. I start out buying. Well, that's where this guy comes into play, right? I learned a while ago. Great piece of equipment, cheap. You look in that, and you look for those dots, and if there's no dots, you can have a real photo. That's what I heard. Easy to carry, very, very portable item. You know, throw it in your pocket. You had a San Francisco real photo, you'd be asking 20 plus. I thought they were a dime a dozen. Outdoor thing like that in Salem next weekend called Vintage Days or something. They're having 20s, 30s, sell a big band. Oh, yeah, that does sound very cool. I didn't know you were that contemporary. I thought you were like, I guess you don't discriminate. You go back 1,000 years or 20 years. You just dig stuff. That sounds really cool, though. You have somebody you can afford to be choosy with pricey ones. Yeah. You know, usually we open the show like everybody does with the obligatory, how'd your sales go? How did everybody's sales do this weekend? You guys having some success? Anybody seeing anything pick up? I had a nice weekend. Again, pumped about the 7 or so postcards are sold. I'm hoping things are going to turn around now and that the whole summer slowdown is going to be over. I'm happy so far. Last few days. And again, for me, very atypical. You know, we went away for the weekend and I didn't list anything since today I did, but from Friday at maybe noon or so until this morning, I hadn't listed a solitary thing. And I always heard that was the death knell of anybody on eBay, you know, list, you got to list every day. Otherwise they kill you. It's obviously not true in Popeye's case. Hasn't listed in months and sells, what do you say, $4,000 a month without even trying. It's on autopilot. But, you know, I try obviously to list at least a few things every day, and didn't have the opportunity for 3 days, and yet I still had a pretty good weekend. So I was very inspired by that, and I'm definitely gonna kick everything up a notch. I'm definitely gonna get the rest of the postcards I have up, and I'm very, very afraid of falling into the trap that so many others have fallen into. Is just I'm gonna keep buying. It's almost like you could see the addictive quality to postcards. Because they do have things that are addicting. I personally love photographs if we're dealing with RPPCs. I love history. So like it feeds several things that I enjoy. Then you have the simplicity of listing them, throw them right through the Epson ES400 here, duplex scanner, boom, 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 instantly photograph with zero to little effort. Portable, very easy to store. You know, it has a lot of things going for it, the whole postcard thing. So yes, Stephen, exactly. The excellent for a jeweler's loop, right? For stamps. Yep. I missed the Dawn quote. Hold on. Yeah, Kelly, most postcards are worth less than $10, it seems. Right. That's what I've seen. Except today I sold one for $15, which I was doing backflips over. Sold a $15 postcard with shipping because I had this one up for a while and I didn't have the free shipping model that I now have from almost all the new ones. With the 59-cent shipping or 57 cent shipping, whatever it is. You're really into 20s music? That's cool. And post-metal. Yeah, I know. Exactly. Well, that's me too. Music, I can go back to. I play Baroque music all the time on my little, what's it called? Alexa upstairs. We have an Alexa in the kitchen. And for those of you who may not know, I'm sure you do. Most of you know, my wife's a baker, a cookie decorator and all that stuff. So I wind up baking a lot of the time during the day. And then she comes home and decorates them. Anyway, my go-to when I'm baking is I go upstairs and I'll say, Alexa, play. And I always put on, a lot of times I put on Baroque music, which is like peaceful background music. And then I like, you know, Pink Floyd Animals and everything in between. Sales are steady, nothing huge, but not slow. Well, that's a good thing. Not slow is the operative term in that sentence. So I'm very happy for you. Example, you just searched for San Francisco RPPC earthquake, and more than half are not RPPCs. Yes, but no biggie. To 20 sheet music. Oh, yeah, totally. Me too. I love sheet music. Very cool, Stephen. A lot of stamp collectors. Now, is that, we've talked about this too. A lot of people have mentioned or brought up a concern about, postcard collecting as a general thing kind of dying off as people get older and generations vanish from the planet. Will also go postcard collecting, but obviously that's not true because, as Kelly's pointed out many times, he's been to postcard shows where there's people in their 20s and 30s at postcard shows. So that's very encouraging. Stamps, on the other hand, seems to really be an old man game. There's not a lot of youth in stamp collecting, at least not that I've seen. And I hope it doesn't go by the boards and vanish, because I have tons of stamps myself too that I've just never, I think I'm not alone in that. I inherited a bunch of stamps from my great grandfather, who passed away in like 1981 or 2. And he always said, you're going to have a fortune in this stuff. And when the few times we've tried to go through the colossal task of identifying all this stuff, unfortunately, nothing is, retirable. And it's just so much work to go through them all. All by Yourself in the Moonlight, or whatever the song is called, is great. Everything's moonlight in the 20s music. Yeah, he definitely is. Oh, you got to love Baroque. Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to look at it. Research is deep. That be true. Absolutely. Oh boy. All right, so nobody at least has confessed to having miserable sales this last few days. So maybe there is a generic turnaround for everybody taking place as we head into the month of September, and the summer stuff is gonna hopefully fall by the wayside. Your boyfriend has his parents' stamp collection, which was their parents' collection. Anyways, trying to help research. Indeed, tedious is another great word. It is tedious. And I've often described it as gotchas. There's a lot of gotchas with stamps. Like, we foolishly thought prior to getting one of these things and getting the Scott's catalogs, which we did get, we foolishly thought we had some real winners. And then upon further inspection, there's always a gotcha. There's always, if you have, one more perforation, it goes from $5,000 to 17 cents or whatever, not literally, but there's a dramatic fall off. If you had one more perforation, it would have been worth $500, but the one you have is worth $1.10. That kind of stuff gets old. You get your hopes up for a few things. And again, it's a dangerous thing. I don't want to falsely advertise a stamp as being whatever, Scott's 152. And then some guy like Steven or somebody that really knows stamps well comes in and says, no, that's not this. And this is worth 27 cents. A lot of gotchas in stamps. But I would imagine if you know what you're doing, it's probably a pretty great thing to be into. Oh, very cool. And you haven't been listing, huh? Yeah, save for the last 3 days, I was listing every day, but I was encouraged to see that I didn't they didn't just come to a crashing halt. And the last week was super slow. You had a few days of no payouts, but the weekend was all right. Yeah, what a great point again, Kelly. It all evens out. It's true. Ebbs and flows. Yeah, preparation. No, it's tedious personified, and it's like I said, it's disheartening at times because we've been burnt 2 or 3 times. It's really my wife who dove into the research piece of stamps. She thrives on tedious things. I know it sounds silly, but she really does. She loves puzzles. She loves organizing papers and alphabetizing things. She loves that kind of stuff. So this was kind of up her alley, the tedious aspect of stamp collecting and research. So she dove in. We got the Scott's catalogs. We got the thing. she dove in and she took a lot of time and she organized everything beautifully from just boxes of stamps that we have from my great grandfather. And 2 or 3 times, especially early on in this venture, she's like, "Oh my God, look at this!" And it was worth whatever, like $1,000 for one stamp. And I got all fired up. I'm like, "See, diamond in the rough. We might have 10,000, whatever, probably a lot more than that, but 100,000 stamps. But all you need is one, or all you need is 10 really good ones to make it all worthwhile." And we got all pumped up. And then again, the further we got into it, we realized, oh man, it's missing this one little element, and now it's worth nothing. So you go from super high to absolute. I think, and you could answer this, Stephen, if you know. I believe, according to the Scots thing, that every stamp is worth at least a quarter now. Like you can't go below a quarter. I think that I read that. Correct me if I'm wrong. My wife told me that. Tedium. You like tedium too, Dawn? I mean, seriously, my wife likes that stuff. I don't know why. All you need to know is the purse per inch, which the gauge tells you. Oh, yeah? Okay. Puzzles are great. The Kitty Bonnie Mace. Puzzles, I'm going to get the term wrong, but not latch hook. Like something like latch hook. Those kind of things where you have to it's not just regular knitting. It's like a grid, and maybe it is latch hook. I forgot what it's called. But anyway, putting like yarn through these grids and creating something out of it. All those kind of things that take forever. She loves it. Loves it, loves it, loves it. Yep, got to get the gauge. We have a gauge too, which are very cheap, very inexpensive to get. All right. Glad I can tell you should be looking some further. I commend you, sir. That's got to be a labor of love. Or in Steven's case, if you're doing it so long and you're doing it since you're a kid or whatever, it gets in your blood and you just love doing it. Again, stamp collecting was a monstrous hobby forever. So in no way, shape, or form am I ripping on the the hobby. I think it's fantastic. I worry going forward how many people are going to be into it. That's all. Hook rugs, yeah, something like that. Latch hook, right? And he says rug hooking with the latch hook, yeah, something like that. Thank you, everybody, for making me feel foolish once again. I appreciate that. Yes, latch hooking, but not just that. And then she has this other thing that's and let's see who knows this one. It's like little beads, sort of, right? And they go into a plastic grid. These things, my God, they were so expensive. We bought them all from England. She spent a lot of money on these things. Pixels, I think they're called pixels. They make beautiful. The end product is really, really pretty, but it's, again, tedious. You literally use a tweezer, and they have these bags of multicolored little plastic bead things. And you look at the photo, and it has like number 1 through 10 million, and you line these things up, and you place these little beads in this plastic grid, and at the end you have this frameable piece of art. But my God, needlepoint, that's another good one, sure. 50 some albums and dozens of tubs full of stamps. Over 1 million. Holy cow. Do you sell them on eBay currently, Stephen? Like, are you active in selling stamps? A butterfly one. There you go. Always seems to be a butterfly or a Tinkerbell kind of thing. It is. Diamond, right? Yeah, pixels. Aren't they pixels, Annie? I think they're pixels. My wife bought them in, they were all from England, so we paid a fortune for them. She loves them, loves doing them. Hasn't done those in a while, but we have boxes of them, not too far behind me. Diamond painting? No, it wasn't called diamond painting. They're these little, Annie kind of hit it. Yeah, these little rhinestone-ish plastic, whatever. I don't think they're glass. Little bead things, and they all have different colors. And basically, when you put them all together, they form an image or whatever, a butterfly or whatever you're trying to create. But you have to tediously pick up each one of these ridiculously small, I mean, really small, like a grain of rice size, maybe half a grain of rice size, different colors and all that. Pick it up with a tweezer and gingerly place them in these exact boxes. And it takes a year, easily. If you do it every night, it might take a year. But anyway, she likes that stuff. Oh, what a cool thing. Needlepoint crosses a few days and sends them to sodas. Cross on my pocket. I love it. That's a really nice idea. Oh, they're called diamond painting? Okay, I think they were called pixels. As I, again, look for some sort of a Pixel Hobby. That's the website, pixelhobby.uk. And you'll see what I'm talking about. That's funny. They have a butterfly, of course, the first one that comes up. Let's share the screen. No, Melvin Fudd. Let's share the screen, shall we? I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. This is what she does. It's not the specific one, but this is the type of things it is. You see this? It's called Pixel Hobby. We have spent thousands of dollars. See, this one's 38 pounds. And depending on the amount of plates you have to buy, it could get really, really expensive. I don't know if this is doing it justice. Kits. You get the idea? These little pixels. They're all colored. And let's see if this one blows up. Yeah. Number of bases, 4. So you get these, you buy these 4 like little plates, basically. And you put in all those little things and you're left with this image of a puppy. Anyway, it's called Pixel Hobby. All right, everybody, we're probably going to wrap it up at 10, pushing 3 hours again. Yeah, I mean, cool's a relative term. They come out really nice. My wife's, I mean, those are really small ones. Some of the ones my wife has are like, I don't know, a 2-foot tall thing. Like, they're really big. Again, they're frameable. They look really nice. We actually do have a couple that she made, special like Disney ones and things that we do have framed and hanging in the basement. So they are a nice hobby. It's a kind of original thing, along the lines of the latch hook sort of thing, but just a different product. Instead of yarn, you're using these weird little crystal things, or diamond painting, as Annie said. But she loves that stuff. The moral of the story really was that she thrives on those menial tasks, those redundant things that most people, I think, would, lose their mind with boredom. Does my wife have? No, she does not. No YouTube or anything, no. She's honed in primarily on the bake. We have an in-home bakery. But thanks for asking. No, she doesn't have a channel. She doesn't have time. Patience is indeed a virtue when it comes to these things. Yes, tedious, absolutely. To the nth degree, they are tedious. But she loves it. I mean, she thinks it's, she'll lay in bed and just do those for hours. It's relaxing for her, which is great. Whereas I might mindlessly, not mindlessly, but I might fire up a little animals. You know what I mean? As I'm listening to something background, to me, that's relaxing. It helps me think better, all that kind of stuff. For her, maybe it helps her focus better on certain things. I don't know. Or keep her mind off of other things and just focus solely on whatever the tedious task she's doing. I guess that's probably what the attraction is for her. But it's pretty cool. You've listened to several where the camera's pointing down at the oh, very cool. Yeah, and because of the whatnot thing, I have one of those. It's pretty cool. Again, I can't think what the product's called, but it's very, very nice. It's an arm kind of thing, and then it goes. You can bend it. It's you could put it in any kind of position. It bends over. You could have it like completely like this, and then you could hook on your phone or your GoPro, whatever camera you're using to it, and it gives you a perfect overhead image. It's really nice. You like repetitive menial tasks, but I don't like fiddly things. The annoyance factor for me would be out of control. Exactly. Beads everywhere. Yeah, I'd lose my mind. That's hell to me. But she loves it. You practically live off desserts. If she starts a channel, consider sharing with her. I will. Thank you. I'd be happy to. She would never have the time, Ansley. No way. You need time to do YouTube. And she doesn't have to. Her time is spent, doing the decor of the artistic piece of what she does. Yeah, we ship all over the country, Stephen. Absolutely. She gets orders from all over the place. Yep. All right, we're probably going to wrap it up in a minute or so. Anybody have any last thoughts or comments to ponder until the next time we get together, which will be Friday at 6 for the listing show? I will be on tomorrow night on Whatnot at 6 o'clock also. Losing my voice suddenly. That's scary. Tomorrow night at 6 on Whatnot. So do check that out if you have some time. I'll put up some more cool ads. And Friday will be the listing show. Everybody definitely check out Friday at 1 o'clock Eastern and noon Central, right? The new channel over there that we talk about with Rachel and Kristen and Angie. Check them out on YouTube. We put a link earlier and an Instagram link as well. That should be a lot of fun. Definitely check out Ephemerama on Saturday over on Whatnot. Starts at, I think it was 6 o'clock in the evening through 10 or so, 10 or 11. That's what's going on in this neck of the woods the next few days anyway. Again, great to be on again. Took a long break there. My goodness, I didn't realize because I usually do the Monday and Fridays, right? We did a Monday. We didn't do a Friday because I was on the road. Didn't do a Monday because it was Labor Day and I was driving home and I figured there wouldn't be a big turnout Monday night. So we're here on a Tuesday. But it was great. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming in. Great to see everybody. Great to talk with all of you. Good luck. I'm going to keep listing postcards. That's my new thing. I'm getting into the postcard thing. I'm seeing some success, so I'm going to stick with it. It's a lot of fun. And it'll make my conversation a lot easier with you guys that are all real ringers, as I say, in the postcard arena. So, again, great night, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'll see you on Whatnot tomorrow. Good night. Bye-bye.